Naruto. I sell jars in Konoha village. Chapter 41. The air cannon is fired. Will Hinata Hanabi turn into a cannon vine? Okay, Hanabi, it's time to open the can. Hinata Hiyashi tapped Hanabi's head lightly, allowing Hanabi to come back to her senses instantly and quickly look at the can she had chosen. Another can was smashed open by Hinata Hanabi, and a blue ball of light fell down. Chakra of an ordinary genin. It comes from the chakra that an ordinary genin has cultivated with great effort. After fusion, it can instantly superimpose its own chakra and increase the chakra of an ordinary genin level. Good luck. Looking at this thing, Lin Mo nodded and said, chakra of an ordinary genin. Hearing Lin Mo's words, Hinata Hanabi's eyes lit up. You can become stronger without refining chakra. Without any hesitation, Hinata Hanabi immediately reached out and touched it, and instantly fused this genin chakra light ball, feeling the extra chakra in her body. It's so comfortable. Soon, Hinata Hanabi looked very happy. I don't even need to exercise, I'm already a genin, and this feeling of becoming stronger while lying down is more comfortable. Thinking so, Hinata Hanabi continued to knock open the third can. This time the can broke, and a cylindrical, hollow object fell down. As this, iron. Looking at this thing, Hinata Hanabi was a little confused, she didn't recognize it at all. Subconsciously, she looked at Lin Mo. And Lin Mo raised his eyebrows and exclaimed, good luck. Air cannon, an air cannon from an unknown world. When you put it on your hand and shout, bang, it will emit invisible air pressure to attack the enemy. Remember, the energy of this weapon is limited. It's actually an air cannon. The only pity is that the energy in this thing is actually limited. If it is infinite, it would be comfortable. This is an air cannon. Immediately, Lin Mo opened his mouth and briefly talked about this air cannon. Hinata Hanabi scratched his head and said, it turns out to be a weapon, but this weapon is so ugly. Looking at the appearance of the air cannon, Hinata Hanabi's face was tangled. This air cannon is too ugly, she doesn't like it at all. You can try the power. Lin Mo suggested with a smile, with a hint of encouragement in his tone. Although Hinata Hanabi thought the appearance of the air cannon was a bit ugly, she listened to Lin Mo's words and decided to try it out of curiosity about new things. She carefully put the air cannon on her wrist, feeling its weight and texture, feeling a little uneasy. Standing aside, Hinata Hiyashi was watching quietly. Although he didn't quite understand the principle of this strange cylindrical weapon, he believed that Lin Mo would not shoot without purpose, and it would be okay for Hanabi to test it. Okay, I'll try. Hanabi took a deep breath, stood firm, and her eyes became focused. She raised her wrist and aimed the air cannon at a tree outside the can shop. She silently recited what Lin Mo said in her heart and whispered, bang. In an instant, the air cannon made a low humming sound. Then, an invisible pressure sprayed out from the muzzle and hit the tree almost instantly. The trunk shook violently, as if it was hit by a huge force. The leaves fluttered down and there was even a noticeable dent on the trunk. The sound of bang was not loud, but the power of the air vibration was surprisingly evident. Hyuga Hanabi clearly felt the slight vibration on her wrist. Although there was no direct counterattack, the invisible force made her heart tremble. This power. Hyuga Hiyashi, who was standing aside, narrowed his eyes suddenly. The power of this thing was unexpectedly not small. Although he was the patriarch of the Hyuga clan and had seen a lot, this was the first time he had seen such a powerful air vibration attack method. Air vibration, even ordinary ninjas would not feel good if they encountered this at close range. He did not expect that this seemingly simple weapon could produce such a powerful force. This was enough to play a huge role in the battle. And Hanabi looked at her wrist, her excitement was beyond words. She did not expect that this seemingly ordinary cylinder could have such a powerful power. Although its appearance was not pleasing, its power far exceeded her expectations. That's amazing. Hanabi said excitedly, turning to look at Lin Mo, his eyes full of gratitude and admiration. Lin Mo smiled slightly, nodded and said, don't be careful, the energy of this air cannon will be exhausted, and it is not certain how many times it can be used. Hearing Lin Mo's words, Hyuga Hanabi suddenly felt a little disappointed. You can't use it all the time. I was thinking about going back to have fun, but there are still times. You can't use this thing for the time being. Beside him, Hyuga Hiyashi said to Hyuga Hanabi, Hanabi, although this air cannon is amazingly powerful, you must be cautious when using it and can't show it to others easily. This is a powerful weapon, but you must also know how to control it. You don't have a place to use it in the village, but you can carry it with you at any time. If possible, Hyuga Hiyashi wanted to put away Hyuga Hanabi's air cannon and put it in the Hyuga clan. But he thought of another thing and thought about forgetting it. You can let Hanabi carry it with you first. Hearing what Hinata Hiyashi said, Hanabi nodded solemnly. Yes, father, I will be careful. While speaking, Hinata Hanabi put the air cannon on her hand and covered it with her long sleeves. Looking quietly, you can see that the air cannon is well hidden in Hinata Hanabi's hand. Then Hanabi continued to knock open the fourth jar. The fourth jar broke, and this time a Bingliang pill fell down. It's a Bingliang pill. Looking at this Bingliang pill, Hinata Hanabi recognized it instantly, and subconsciously looked at Lin Mo and asked, Brother Lin Mo, is this Bingliang pill special? Special Bingliang pill, the same as your sister opened before. Lin Mo took a look and said, I won't say more. Oh. Hearing Lin Mo's words, Hinata Hanabi understood. Then continued to knock open the fifth jar. The fifth jar broke, and a green light ball fell down. Seeing this green light ball, Hinata Hanabi was stunned. Green light ball. She only knew white light balls and blue light balls, and it was the first time she saw a green light ball. Beside him, Hinata Hiyashi also looked over, his eyes attracted by the green light ball. And Lin Mo thought of the time when Tiantian opened the can just now. Hinata Hanabi and Hinata Hiyashi were not there, and he had not seen the green light ball. But the next second, Lin Mo looked at the introduction of this green light ball and fell into deep thought. Gunner Heavy Armor Specialization, exclusive professional mastery from a female gunner. After fusion, when heavy armor is equipped, it can increase strength, close attack and ranged attack hit rate. The simple introduction made Lin Mo's face more and more strange. Hinata Hanabi will not become a gun lol. Chapter 42. There is too much cheese to eat, so you don't have to worry about Danzo anymore. I thought of Hinata Hanabi walking towards the female gunner and taking out some kind of weapon like a flamethrower. That scene. Lin Mo fell into deep thought. Even the female gunner is tall, which is not something Hinata Hanabi can become in a short while. On the contrary, he will become a bastard. That picture seems a bit beautiful. Brother Lin Mo, what is this? At this time, Hinata Hanabi was still blinking her beautiful big eyes, looking at Lin Mo eagerly and asking, this is the first time Hanabi saw a green light group. This is a special ability light group. Hearing Hinata Hanabi's words, Lin Mo said, it is a kind of wear specialization. As long as you integrate this thing, once you wear heavy armor that feels very heavy, you can increase your strength, close attacks and ranged attack hit rate. If this thing was used every day, it would be quite suitable. Hinata Hanabi looked confused after hearing Lin Mo's words. What does Lin Mo mean by this? Why doesn't she understand? If you shoot this thing of yours every day, then with the seal scroll on her back, the power of the shuriken and kunai she projects will be greater, and it will be easier to hit the target. This is the so-called hit rate. Quote. Seeing the confused Hanabi, Lin Mo slowly said, the close attack is your physical power, which will be blessed and suddenly become stronger. Lin Mo tried his best to make his words as easy to understand as possible, and Wahui's expression was stunned. She seemed to understand somewhat. If that's the case, is the little girl also in a weight-bearing state? Next to him, Hinata understood Lin Mo's words and immediately asked, can I understand that while the little girl can exercise while bearing weight, it does not affect her physical skills and will become weaker, but will be better than without bearing weight? I had to show my strength before. If this is the case, then the value of this thing is great. The so-called heavy armor series of armor can be forged. Just what he knew was that there was a maverick Jonin in Konoha who had been training himself in this way. That's understandable. Hearing Hinata Hazu's words, Linmo nodded. While you can get exercise, it will not affect your own strength. It will even be strengthened. The only drawback is that it is quite painful. Speaking of this, Linmo looked strange. At the very least, it was inconvenient to walk or move about at first. Hinata listened thoughtfully. Hinata Hanabi suddenly fell silent. She suddenly felt that this thing didn't seem so good. However, seeing the way her father looked at her, Hinata Hanabi immediately reached out her hand and merged this gunner heavy armor specialization. The fusion process was not as intense or painful as she had imagined. Instead, it felt like a warm and fulfilling feeling, as if there was a force slowly flowing through her body, transforming her body bit by bit. As the fusion was completed, Hinata Hanabi opened her eyes. I feel like my strength has become stronger. Hinata Hanabi clenched her fists in surprise. It seems to have transformed my body. Normal. Linmo was not surprised at all by this, but nodded and said, it's all brought with it. The same goes for the green light group that shoots out every day. Directly exercise your fingers to make them completely flexible. After hearing Linmo's words, Hinata Rizu also instantly thought of the speed of Tiantian seal formation that he saw not long ago, and made a guess in his mind. Not surprisingly, Tiantian must have prescribed something special to cause this. And Hinata Hanabi, who integrated gunner heavy armor specialization, continued to open the sixth jar. Bang! A sixth jar shattered, this time a piece of cheese fell out. It smells so good. Looking at this piece of cheese that was full of color and flavor, Hinata Hanabi sniffed her nose vigorously with a look of surprise on her face. Delicious. Endless cheese, a piece of cheese from a certain planet with a soft surface and an alluring aroma. It will return to its original shape with each bite, but be careful, your stomach may fail before your mouth does. Linmo's eyelids twitched fiercely when he saw this thing that Hinata Hanabi had created. Why did this thing remind him of something very bad in the world? Dekui was not what he had imagined. Otherwise, I'm afraid the entire ninja world will be stuffed with cheese. It's an endless supply of cheese. Immediately, Linmo spoke briefly, and Hinata Hanabi's expression was stunned. Can't finish eating. Is there still more food to finish? Subconsciously, Hinata Hanabi picked it up and took a bite, feeling the rich cheese aroma filling her, making her feel slightly full. And the next second, the cheese that Hanabi bitten came back to life in the eyes of Hinata Hanabi and Linmo. It's so amazing. Looking at the restored cheese, Hinata's eyes widened. This food can be completely reused. Linmo was also slightly happy in his heart. The food problem I need to worry about is solved. If he hadn't gotten stronger and that bitch Danzo had brought someone to block the door, he could have squatted in the shop and gnawed cheese. For a time, the threat from the group leader was no longer so great. However, Linmo also knew that he couldn't keep chewing cheese, nor could he stay in the store all the time. Because not being able to go out and not wanting to go out are two different things. This thing is very valuable, don't carry it with you. Beside him, Hyuga Hiyashi looked at Wahuo seriously and said, when you go back, put it in your room and don't let others see it. If people see that there is food that can be reused, it will cause an uproar. This is completely abnormal. Regenerated food, it's scary to think about it. And this cheese can be regenerated, so other things can also be regenerated. The jars sold by Mr. Linmo are really magical. Subconsciously, Hyuga Hiyashi looked at the row of jars on the counter behind Linmo, and his heart became more and more solemn, and he became more and more restrained towards Linmo. As he learned more and more, he felt more and more uneasy. This feeling really hasn't appeared for many years. Yeah. Hearing Hyuga Hiyashi's words, Wahuo nodded obediently. Hanahuo knows. Regenerated food, it's incredible to think about it. But she has also decided that she can feed some small animals with confidence in the future. She can also raise some small animals without worrying about food. Thinking of this, Hinata Hanabi's eyebrows curved into crescents. Her luck is really good. She opened 6 jars and got these good things. Even though she is young, she knows that these things in her hand cannot be bought with money. Chapter 43. Returning the Shattered Fire of Chakra. Accelerate the mastery of the nature of fire at. Looking at the remaining 3 jars, Hyuga Hanabi put away the cheese and directly knocked 2 of them open at once. With 2 bangs, the 2 jars broke, and a teacup and a blue ball of light fell down. Self-repairing teacup, a seemingly ordinary porcelain teacup from a certain world. No matter how it is broken, it will automatically repair within a few minutes, but it will leave more cracks after each repair. Fragmented fire can release a terrifying high-temperature magic flame, which can be mastered instantly after fusion. It requires a certain amount of chakra. If the condensed fragmented fire kills the target, then a certain amount of chakra will be returned. Looking at the 2 things that Hyuga Hanabi opened, Linmo suddenly narrowed his eyes. He could understand a teacup, but he couldn't understand the next fragmented fire. This ability appeared in Naruto. Doesn't it represent the unprinted ninjutsu? Blue ball of light. Hyuga Hanabi and Hyuga Hiyashi were also attracted by the blue ball of light. Especially Hanabi, with a surprised look on his face. If it is a chakra light ball, then I will become stronger again. It is really great to be able to obtain chakra without practicing. Is it chakra? Hinata Hanabi asked Linmo impatiently, and Linmo shook his head and said, "It is not chakra, but a flame." Hearing Linmo's words, Hinata Hanabi was stunned and looked confused. You can understand it is a kind of no-mark ninjutsu. You only need to merge it and you can release it instantly. Linmo slowly said, if the target released is killed on the spot, then the chakra you consume will be returned to a certain amount. The specific effect needs to be tested by yourself, but you don't need to seal it when releasing it. As for the other teacup, it is also a little interesting. If it is broken, it will automatically repair itself, but when it is repaired, it will leave cracks. As Linmo introduced it simply, Hinata Hanabi widened her eyes. No mark ninjutsu. Can you use chakra directly to use flames? This is too incredible. Especially Hinata Hiyashi, his face is solemn. What he values is not the unprinted ninjutsu, but the chakra return that will be obtained after this flame kills the target. He knows the power of some unprinted ninjutsu, but unprinted ninjutsu will not return any chakra. Your chakra is consumed, so how can it be returned? When Hinata Hiyashi thought so, Hinata Hanabi had already reached out and touched the blue light ball. In an instant, Hinata Hanabi felt a blue light ball pouring into her body, making her body feel slightly hot, her face flushed instantly, and her whole head was a little hot. However, this process only lasted for a few seconds and then disappeared completely. Hanabi could feel that as long as she wanted, she could directly reach out her hand to release the flame to the target without the need to make a seal. This made Hanabi look very excited, and she felt eager to try. Because she did not have the nature of fire chakra. Now that this shattered fire can consume her chakra, she is very excited. Can you feel the chakra changing into the chakra nature of fire attribute? Hinata Hiyashi looked at the excited Hinata Hanabi and asked. The change of chakra nature is difficult to master. Hanabi does not have the chakra nature of fire attribute. Now that we have this shattered fire, can we use it to master the change of chakra nature of fire attribute? If we can, we will make a fortune. It seems, I have a little feeling. Hearing what Hinata Hiyashi said, Hanabi was stunned and hesitated. The flow of chakra is the same as usual, but when I want to send out this fire, it will change in an instant. If this process continues, it should allow me to master the change of chakra nature of fire attribute faster. Very good. Hearing this, Hinata Hiyashi was overjoyed. After returning, I will practice this ability well. You know, Hinata Hanabi is only 5 years old. Once you master a change of chakra nature, you can master more in the future. Although you can open the jar here by Mr. Linmo to open the chakra nature and master it, so far, it seems that only his daughter Hinata has opened one. The fireworks did not bloom. But now, the special flames that the fireworks bloomed can accelerate the mastery of the changes in the nature of fire-attributed chakra, which is a huge profit. Not to mention that this flame can also return chakra. He can already imagine how exciting the future of the fireworks will be. Even if this shopkeeper does not open the shop anymore and does not sell jars, the potential of the fireworks has already undergone a qualitative change. Hearing what Hyuga Hiyashi said, Hyuga Hanabi nodded. She is not one of those civilian ninjas, and knows how important the changes in the nature of chakra are to ninjas. How many ninjas have trained for many years and cannot master the changes in the nature of chakras? Only ninjas who have mastered the changes in the nature of chakras are qualified to become Jonins. When a ninja practices to a certain level, in addition to refining chakras and practicing ninjutsu, he must also practice physical skills or techniques, and then master the changes in the nature of chakras to become stronger. Seeing that there was only one jar left, Hanabi excitedly reached out and knocked it open. The 9th jar broke, and a purple strange thing fell down, which made Hyuga Hanabi and Hyuga Hiyashi stunned. This is something they have never seen before. True Vision Guard, a strange item from a certain alliance. After being placed, it can become a guard that can detect invisible units to monitor an area until it is destroyed by the enemy. The field of view is 1,000 meters. Once it is removed after being placed, it will become ineffective. The simple introduction made Lin Mo raise his eyebrows. This is a good thing. With this thing, you can place it directly at the door of the store and immediately see the situation in all directions clearly. You don't need to go out to see everything around the store. Even if there are invisible ninjas passing by, they will be exposed. Comfortable. Although I am invincible in the jar shop, I can't see the surrounding situation outside the shop from a distance. With this, I can completely know the situation in advance. Lin Mo smiled and said, "This is a reconnaissance guard. After it is placed, it can monitor the surrounding area within a range of 1 kilometer. If a ninja comes in stealthily, you can easily find him. His stealth technique is useless. Monitoring thing." Hearing Lin Mo's words, Hyuga Hiyashi's pupils shrank sharply. The function of this thing sounds not simple. It can completely replace the patrol of ninjas. Even though Hyuga Hiyashi is a big family, there are ninjas patrolling around the territory at night to avoid all unexpected factors. Now with this thing, he can completely foresee and be aware of it. Chapter 44. Place True Vision Guardian. No wonder I blush every day. And not only that, you can also arrange it in other places. For example, the Hokage's office, or... After all, no one would have thought that this ordinary thing in front of them could be something capable of monitoring a kilometer radius. Thinking of this, Hinata Hazu's breathing quickened. The value of this thing is too great. It doesn't sound like it's going to do much good. While Hinata Hiyashi looked a little excited and lost his temper, Hinata Hanabi next to her scratched her head in confusion after hearing Lin Mo's words, feeling that this thing was of no use. However, Hinata Hanabi looked satisfied when she thought that she had opened the can and opened some interesting things that would make her stronger. "Mr. Lin Mo, the fireworks have been opened. It's time for us to leave." When Hinata Hanabi put away the True Sight Guard, Hinata Hiyashi spoke with a slightly respectful tone. "If you need help with anything, I, the Hyuga clan, are willing." He can't wait to go back and test this so-called True Vision Guard. Hearing Hinata Hanabi's words, Lin Mo nodded slightly and said, "Go ahead. Once the True Vision Guard is placed, it cannot be cancelled. Once it is removed, it will be useless. You need to pay attention to this. Before placing it, you need to think about it." Quote. Hinata Hazu wanted to leave. Why didn't he want Hinata Hazu and others to leave? After all, Hinata, Hazu and others are gone, so that he can integrate the things he developed to improve himself. "Goodbye, brother Lin Mo." Hinata Hanabi, who still wanted to stay for a while, felt a little disappointed when she saw this scene, and waved her hand to Lin Mo. After hearing Lin Mo's words, Hinata and Hazu nodded respectfully. "I understand, thank you shopkeeper." After saying that, Hinata Hazu bid farewell to Lin Mo and left with Hinata Hanabi. Lin Mo waved his hand, and things suddenly appeared in the air. The chakras of 2 ordinary genin were fused by his immediate contact. It's a pity, it's still not strong enough. Feeling the amount of chakra in his body increase again, although it was a little refreshing, Linmo still sighed a little. Growth is too slow. The next second, Linmo looked at the fragmented fire's ability light group again, and decisively stretched out his hand to fuse it. In an instant, Linmo felt that he could release this shattering fire anytime and anywhere. As long as the target is killed, a certain amount of chakra can be returned. Next, Linmo looked at the wind escape ninjutsu and vacuum jade again, and reached out to touch it. In an instant, Linmo felt a large amount of knowledge and practice about this ninjutsu pour into his mind, and he understood it instantly. With my current amount of chakra, I can release it many times. If you add more shattering fire to supplement the damage and kill the target, a certain amount of chakra can be returned. Linmo felt the power he now had, and his expression became more and more joyful. The use of shattering fire plus vacuum jade is very good. There are also ninjutsu mastery and gunnery master heavy armor specialization. The latter specializations are of little use to me. I don't need any weight. Linmo looked at the two green light groups again. Without any hesitation, he decisively reached out to touch and merge. In an instant, Linmo felt that the bones in his body had been strengthened, and the feeling of stronger strength made him feel extremely clear. An experience in chakra training. Linmo looked at the chakra training experience that Hinata had previously developed. With this thing, you can also refine chakra yourself. With this in mind, Linmo reached out and touched it, instantly mastering how to refine chakra. Next, when you have nothing to do in the shop, you can also become stronger by refining chakra. He can't always rely on others to open the can and become stronger. After all, there won't be a lot of people opening cans right now. By the way, my significant chakra is not known yet. The next second, Linmo looked at the only chakra test strip. Yesterday, he was still worrying about how to obtain chakra test strips so that he could test his significant chakra. Get it today. When Linmo picked up the chakra test paper and injected chakra, the chakra test paper was immediately cut and torn in half. Linmo's face turned dark when he saw this phenomenon happening. Doesn't this mean that he has no significant chakra attributes at all? In other words, he does not have the qualifications to become a ninja. If Hinata hadn't revealed the wind-type chakra property before, he wouldn't even have the wind-type chakra property. It's okay, it will happen in the future. Linmo took a deep breath and adjusted his mentality. As long as someone else opens the jar in the future and reveals other chakra properties, he can also obtain it. Now he is no longer weak. With this in mind, Linmo turned his attention to the vertebral muscle strengthener again and decisively chose to use it. For a moment, he felt his body making a crackling sound. It was the process of the vertebrae being transformed and strengthened, which made Linmo almost scream with joy. Only then did he realize his physical condition after using this vertebral muscle strengthener every day. No wonder Tiantian's face was so red at that time. If you don't control it, you will moan out loud. Soon, this process disappeared, and Linmo felt his body getting stronger. He immediately stood up and tried to move around, feeling more relaxed than ever before. Now, all the things that can make him stronger have been integrated. Next, there are some strange things. This cheese. Linmo looked at endless cheese again, pinching his chin and thinking. The introduction of this thing is very strange. The cheese that Hanabi ate in front of him grew back instantly. So the question is, will the cheese eaten by Hanabi be digested? Linmo was very confused about this. It won't stay in the stomach forever, right? This cheese obviously has a regenerative effect, so if it is eaten, it should not be digested. Of course, it may be digested, as long as this main body is there. Linmo thought for a while, and stopped thinking about it, but threw this thing into his storage ring. Then he looked at the True Vision Guard. Without any hesitation, Linmo decisively chose to place the True Vision Guard in his shop. A slight vibration sounded in the air. As Linmo placed the True Vision Guard in the store, the entire guard instantly emitted a faint light, which quickly spread out, as if invisible ripples spread in the air. After the True Vision Guard was activated, Linmo immediately felt a strong perception surge out of the guard, as if the entire store was instantly shrouded in an invisible energy. This energy quickly spread to every corner of the store. It even extended to the street outside the store, covering a distance of 1,000 meters. The number of collections and recommended votes has increased a lot in the past 2 days, so today there will be a guaranteed 5 chapters of 10,000 words updated, and there will be more at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. The rest will be posted when I get up in the evening to write it. Chapter 45. Root and Hash 039, S Action, Uzumaki Naruto. Make money, make money. To open the can. In this area, all the movements clearly appeared in Lin Mo's mind. The scene outside the store was instantly captured in his eyes, and every move of the pedestrians on the street and every corner of the surrounding buildings seemed to become transparent. Even those invisible beings hiding in the shadows had nowhere to hide. Lin Mo could even see that there were 2 special figures walking on the street not far from the store, which seemed to be some ninjas walking in the dark. Those who had to walk invisibly in broad daylight were definitely abnormal guys. But under the monitoring of the True Vision Guard, these invisible units seemed to be locked by an invisible gaze, exposing themselves completely. Sure enough, the effect of this True Vision Guard is immediate. Lin Mo secretly admired in his heart. His eyes narrowed slightly, and his eyes penetrated the wall of the store and directly locked on the 2 auras hiding in the dark. One of the 2 root ninjas who were on their way suddenly stopped and looked around with a suspicious look. What's wrong? Sigh. A root ninja who was shrouded in darkness saw this scene and said in a cold tone, "Why did you stop for no reason?" "I don't know why, I feel something is wrong, but I can't tell what it is." The root ninja called Sai frowned and said, "Wait a moment." While speaking, Sai immediately released chakra to sense the surroundings, but did not find anything. Is it an illusion? For a moment, Sai muttered. What's wrong? Our top priority is to complete the order of Danzo-sama first, and this batch of ninja tools must be obtained. The root ninja who was shrouded in darkness said coldly, complete the task and go back as soon as possible, don't waste time. As he said, he sped up directly to a certain place. Seeing this, the root ninja called Sai was silent for a while, looked around again, and found that there was really nothing, so he immediately followed and left. Interesting. Lin Mo, who had been witnessing all this, smiled lightly. The effect of the True Vision Guard was even stronger than he expected. Not only does it allow him to fully control the movements around the store, but it can also effectively prevent potential threats. Even those ninjas with superb stealth skills can hardly escape his surveillance and still not be discovered. In the future, when the Guba Danzo comes to block the door, he can easily see where there are hidden threats. Lin Mo looked around with satisfaction, feeling the all-round vision brought by the True Vision Guard. He is invincible inside the store, and everything outside the store is under control, which makes him feel an unprecedented sense of security. Lin Mo knows that as long as this True Vision Guard is there, anyone who tries to approach or spy on his store will be exposed to his sight. That's good now, no matter who it is, they can't do anything tricky here. Besides, what is Naruto doing with a bucket? Lin Mo whispered to himself, his eyes were on another direction, his face was strange. In Lin Mo's sight, he could see Uzumaki Naruto carrying a bucket and sneaking along the dark corner. And the target was his can shop. Shopkeeper, shopkeeper. Soon, Uzumaki Naruto trotted all the way to Lin Mo's can shop. Lin Mo. What are you doing with a bucket? Looking at Uzumaki Naruto running in, Lin Mo's face was strange. This bucket is also broken. It can't be a gift to him. Hee, this is the paint I bought, and the boss won't let me return it. Uzumaki Naruto scratched his head and said, so I brought it along. Lin Mo. Uzumaki Naruto hasn't given up on painting the Hokage rock. Haven't you read the comics? Then what do you want me to do? It's like this, I want to ask about my mother. Uzumaki Naruto said in distress, I went to the school's library and looked up some information about the Whirlpool country. It feels fragmented and there are some places I don't understand. What don't you understand? Hearing Uzumaki Naruto's words, Lin Mo raised his eyebrows and said, I remember I have told you the general situation before. I want to know about the Senju clan. Uzumaki Naruto hurriedly asked. According to the information I looked up, when the Whirlpool country was destroyed, Konoha village had the Senju clan and the Uchiha clan. Why didn't they go to help? Wasn't the Whirlpool country an ally of Konoha at that time? The Senju clan now only has Tsunade left, and there are no other Senju clan members in Konoha village. Linmo really didn't expect Uzumaki Naruto to come and ask about the Senju clan, but he still said casually, now Tsunade is out of Konoha village, and no one knows where she is. Only one person. Hearing Linmo's words, Uzumaki Naruto suddenly widened his eyes. So, the two big families who founded the village are gone. The Uchiha clan was destroyed, leaving only Sasuke, the arrogant guy. The Senju clan was destroyed, leaving only a guy named Tsunade. As for why Konoha village didn't rescue the land of whirlpools at that time, you can only ask the Konoha high-level officials. Linmo shook his head gently and said, the Konoha high-level officials at that time definitely knew, and I won't say something that is uncertain. Who knows what happened back then except the parties involved? I know. Hearing Linmo's words, Uzumaki Naruto fell silent, and the whole person became a little dejected. Think about it, it is impossible for the Konoha high-level to tell him such a thing. Even as a Jinchuriki, he was kept in the dark. Thinking of this, Uzumaki Naruto felt even more uncomfortable. Now the source of everything points to the Konoha high-level. If he wants to know the answer, he must find the Konoha high-level. But the Konoha high-level can't tell him. This is a complete contradiction. How to let the Konoha high-level tell him what happened in the past? Uzumaki Naruto pondered. While pondering, Uzumaki Naruto subconsciously touched the comic book in his pocket. In the end, he said goodbye to Linmo and left the con shop. Linmo looked at the departing Uzumaki Naruto, pinching his chin and falling into deep thought. Uzumaki Naruto would actually keep chasing the truth. Then, Linmo stopped paying attention to Uzumaki Naruto, and continued to pay attention to some things that Tiantian, Hinata and Hanabi had opened in front of him. The owner can open the jars, but the jars are expensive. I don't have that much money. I need a lot of money to open something that can help me see my mother and father. I can ask my mother about some of the truth. My mother definitely knows more than I do. But I don't have money. I have to find a way to make money. The things that come out of the jars in the owner's jar shop are full of uncertainty. One person can only open 10 a week. I feel that this kind of thing should not be so easy to open. It seems easy to open something that enhances strength. Either I become strong enough, so I can directly let the Konoha high level tell me the truth. But if I want to become stronger, I still have to open the jars. At this time, Uzumaki Naruto frowned as he walked out of the jar shop. At present, everything he wants to achieve seems to be inseparable from opening jars. And opening jars requires money, and he doesn't have that much money. So the most urgent thing is to make money. Then the question is, how to make money? By the way, comics. Uzumaki Naruto suddenly touched the comics in his pocket. This comic is about the future, maybe I can get some money information from it. Thinking of this, Uzumaki Naruto's eyes became brighter and he quickly went back. I must go back and read this kind of comic carefully. There are 2 to 4 more chapters in the evening. Because of your collection and recommendation votes, I will release a new chapter today. Chapter 46 Sarutobi Hiruzen. How did Iruka teach Naruto? Isn't in Hasho 39, his ninjutsu very bad? After returning home impatiently, Uzumaki Naruto sat on the bed and opened the comics to read. He has read the 3rd chapter so far. When he read the 3rd chapter at the store owner's place before, he left on the spot because of that annoying old Hinata father and never read it again. So Uzumaki Naruto immediately sat on the bed and read it with relish. Sakura and I have the same teacher. Great. Soon, Uzumaki Naruto's face suddenly became pleasantly surprised. But the next second, after seeing Uchiha Sasuke was also in his group, Uzumaki Naruto's face instantly turned dark. Why is this arrogant guy here? So, I can do this. It's indeed something I can do. Oh, what a pity, why do I have diarrhea? As he read, Uzumaki Naruto suddenly slapped his thigh angrily. Uzumaki Naruto, who had read all the way to the back, saw that the third Hokage and a strange guy actually appeared in his house, and his eyes suddenly widened. Who is that guy? Why did he appear in his house? Subconsciously, Uzumaki Naruto speeded up the speed of flipping through the comics. After seeing himself, Sakura, and Uchiha Sasuke in the classroom, waiting for the teacher of Group 7. Is it him? What a stupid guy. He can even be fooled by this. When he saw the content in the comics, Uzumaki Naruto's face was tangled. It's bad, the future will be assigned to the hands of the stupid teacher. Say a wish. As Uzumaki Naruto flipped through the comics, he soon saw the wish he said and suddenly fell silent. Surpass the Hokage. Let everyone in the village recognize my existence. What an idiot. And my paint can't be wasted. The next second, Uzumaki Naruto clenched his fists, stood up suddenly, looked at the paint bucket he brought back, and looked at the content in the comics. Then he looked up at the sky outside that was gradually getting dark, and Uzumaki Naruto took a deep breath. Action. Without any hesitation, Uzumaki Naruto said, decisively put the comic book close to his body, picked up the paint bucket next to him and ran out directly. Looking left and right along the way, while no one was paying attention, Uzumaki Naruto ran to the Hokage rock. It's getting late. At this moment, the Hokage's office. After the third Hokage finished processing the documents, he stood up and stretched his waist. It's late to go back today, and I have to. Just as the third Hokage was talking and was about to walk out of the office, he suddenly saw Uzumaki Naruto sneaking around in the corner diagonally opposite the window, and was suddenly stunned. What is Naruto doing sneaking around so late at night? Is he going to make trouble again? Thinking of Uzumaki Naruto's usual style, Sarutobi Hiruzen was very upset. Immediately, he didn't leave either. He wanted to see what this guy was doing. At this moment, a figure from the Anbu suddenly appeared beside the third Hokage and said respectfully, Uzumaki Naruto. Yeah, I know. The third Hokage interrupted the Anbu, I'm watching. Quote. Sarutobi Hiruzen said, looking at Uzumaki Naruto who had come to the base of the Hokage rock. At this time, Uzumaki Naruto was looking around suspiciously. After a long while, he seemed to find that no one really noticed this place, so he decisively moved his mind and transformed into a ninja turtle. The third Hokage, Sarutobi Hiruzen, who was watching this scene, suddenly widened his eyes, with an expression of seeing a ghost. What kind of transformation technique is this? Next to him, the Anbu ninja who had been standing next to Sarutobi Hiruzen also saw this scene and suddenly fell silent. What an ugly turtle. It was the first time she saw such an ugly transformed turtle. The appearance of the ninja turtles made Sarutobi Hiruzen and this Anbu ninja subconsciously ignore the fact that Uzumaki Naruto did not cast a seal. Hee, I came here to paint late at night, and no one will notice it. When the sun rises tomorrow, my masterpiece will definitely attract attention. At this time, holding a paint bucket, Naruto Uzumaki transformed into a ninja turtle and approached the base of the Hokage statue carefully. His eyes were full of excitement and expectation, and he looked proud, smiling like a fox who stole a chicken. Having read the comics, it was impossible for him to paint the Hokage rock openly. If he had to do it, he had to do it secretly. If he transformed himself tonight, no one would see him. Thinking of this, he climbed up the sculpture quickly and neatly. When he stood on the top of the Hokage statue, the breeze blew, and Naruto overlooked the entire Konoha village. He suddenly felt a sense of conquest in his heart. But this feeling only appeared for a moment. Let them see my artwork first. Naruto took a deep breath, immediately held the paintbrush in one hand and the paint bucket in the other, and began to paint the Hokage's face. The brush was waving on the face of the sculpture, and the red, blue and yellow paints were mixed together and painted on the faces of the first, second and third generations of Hokage at will. The paint covered the sculpture layer by layer, and the originally solemn and dignified image of the first, second and third generations of Hokage gradually became funny. Naruto even painted exaggerated beards and eyebrows on the Hokage's face, with different colors and absurd composition. With every stroke, he felt more proud, as if he could already imagine the shocked expressions of the residents of Konoha village when they saw this scene tomorrow. When the time comes, they will never think that it was me who did it. Naruto became happier and happier as he thought about it, and his speed of painting became faster and faster. Sometimes he stopped to admire his work, and sometimes he continued to paint frantically, as if he was afraid of missing any details. In the night breeze, the smell of paint filled the air, but Naruto didn't care at all. He applied the last bit of paint on the nose of the sculpture of the third Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen, painted a pile of shit, and stepped back with satisfaction, admiring his masterpiece. Uzumaki Naruto said to himself proudly, standing on a high place overlooking the Hokage sculpture that had become unrecognizable. Then, under the cover of the night, Naruto quickly evacuated the scene, transformed into a ninja turtle, and slid down the Hokage rock agilely, sneaking all the way back to the streets of Konoha village, with that naughty smile still on his face. I will transform myself tonight, and no one will see it. Naruto was full of pride and satisfaction. He was sure that no one would know who was behind this prank. Sarutobi Hiruzen and the Anbu ninja who had been witnessing all this remained silent. Looking at the painted Hokage rock, it was even more of a headache. Why did this kid come to paint the Hokage rock with a paint bucket in the middle of the night? It was really a ghost. How did Iruka teach Naruto? How did Naruto mess up this transformation technique? The third Hokage rubbed his eyebrows with a headache. Isn't his ninjutsu very bad? Uzumaki Naruto's clone technique is very bad, but he is very talented in transformation techniques. Hearing Sarutobi Hiruzen's words, the Anbu ninja next to him whispered, it's just that he is different from ordinary people in the development of transformation techniques. Sarutobi Hiruzen. Chapter 47. Will Lord Danzo still refuse to pay you? And according to yesterday's information, an ugly turtle appeared in the village browsing Shinetang bookstore. It can be judged that the ugly turtle may be Uzumaki Naruto. The Anbu ninja continued to speak, and Sarutobi Hiruzen suddenly narrowed his eyes. He thought about the report he had received this morning. Let's connect it to the scene of Naruto Uzumaki's transformation that he just saw. The answer is self-evident. But the next second, Sarutobi Hiruzen became puzzled. What is Naruto doing in the bookstore? Do you love reading so much? Hokage-sama, I'm going to catch that kid right now. The next second, the Anbu ninja continued to say respectfully, let him finish cleaning up. He is not allowed to leave until he finishes cleaning up. Need not. Sarutobi Hiruzen shook his head. Go and call Iruka directly. I will ask him about Naruto's affairs and let him be responsible for Naruto's affairs. Upon hearing Sarutobi Hiruzen's words, the Anbu ninja nodded respectfully and left immediately. Only 3 smeared. Watching the Anbu ninja leave, Hiruzen Sarutobi turned to look at the Hokage rock that was smeared with paint. Only the sculpture of the 4th Hokage was not painted, and he suddenly narrowed his eyes. Is it a coincidence? Or did Naruto notice something? But the next second, Sarutobi Hiruzen shook his head slightly. It shouldn't be the thought in my mind. He had already given the order, and Uzumaki Naruto had no way of knowing. Moreover, Uzumaki Naruto has a single-minded mind. How could he possibly know these secret things? Even ordinary villagers don't know that Uzumaki Naruto is the 4th generation's child. That bucket of paint probably doesn't have much paint. Sarutobi Hiruzen looked at the sculptures of previous generations of Hokages that had been scrawled on the Hokage rock, including 1, 2 and 3 generations. When he once again saw that he was smeared with a mark of feces, Sarutobi Hiruzen's face was extremely dark. Damn it! At the same time. The other side. A certain street in Konoha village. A ninja shop run by Tiantian's family. Tiantian's parents looked at the things their daughter took out, their eyes widened, their breathing became rapid, and they said in disbelief, "Did you buy all of these with money?" When they learned that Tian came back and said they spent 1 million, their faces turned green. Even for Tian, 1 million is not a lot. They provide food and drink every day, and their family owns a ninja shop. They all wonder if Tian has been cheated. As a result, with the speed of seal formation shown every day, the sunset fruit that made people feel energetic when they smelled it, and that G35L electromagnetic grenade that they had never seen before, they were all completely silent. Especially after personally trying the sniper rifle launched by Tian, they were even more shocked. With this kind of weapon, even if civilians master it, they can easily pose a threat to ordinary ninjas. Research now. Tian's father looked excited and said, "If it is copied, then our ninja shop will definitely become bigger." Confused, "We can only study secretly." Hearing this, Tian's mother said coldly, "Do you think that once the research is done, it will still be yours?" Forehead. Hearing this, Tian's father's expression froze. "Indeed. We can just study this thing secretly." Tian's mother whispered to Tian, "Tian, try not to take this thing out. If you do take it out to use, it's best not to let others see how you use it." As someone who forges ninja tools and owns a ninja tool shop, Tian's mother is very aware of the value of this sniper rifle. Not only sniper rifles, but also this special grenade. "Yeah, I know." After hearing what my mother said, Tian nodded heavily. "Don't worry, Mom, I know even if you don't tell me." In this case, if the leader of the Hyuga clan knows that you have this thing, he probably won't tell anyone else, because he didn't bring any extra clan members to open the jar. Tian's mother continued thoughtfully, "At present, not many people know about this store, so we must seize this opportunity." Speaking of this, Tian's mother looked at Tian's father. "Dad, get ready. We are going to open the cans now. You and I can open 20 cans. Now that you know about this magical store, you must not miss it. The sooner you drive, the better. 20 jars, if something good comes out of them, it will be a big profit." To her family. Whether it's an increase in strength or something weird, they can become stronger quickly. Hearing this, Dad Tian nodded heavily. "We are going to visit this person. If we can establish a good relationship with this person, there will only be advantages and no disadvantages." Judging from what Tian has obtained so far, this mysterious shopkeeper is worthy of their visit. Thinking of this, he immediately turned around and went into the back room of the shop to get money. "Hey, Dad, Mom, I also have this Shishong Ruanjin powder, you can also study it." Tian laughed and took out the Toka soft muscle powder. "Smear this kind of thing on the kunai. As long as we use chakra to isolate it, we can protect ourselves and make the enemy unable to fight back." While talking, Tian had already taken out a few kunai and smeared them into the 10-flavor soft tendon powder, and isolated it with chakra. "Well, this is also a good thing." Hearing Tian's words, Tian's mother nodded, "But these powders are not our strong points. It's better to study grenades and guns. You put them aside first and think about it when we come back at night." Tian introduced the things he made before, so that they also knew about this kind of drug. "Okay." Hearing his mother's words, Tian nodded and put it aside. Then Tian's father came out in a hurry with a purse hanging around his waist. "Okay, let's go." Just as Tian's father was talking and taking a step, two figures suddenly appeared at the door of the store and walked in silently. The sudden appearance of the two people made Tian's father and mother look unhappy, but this unpleasant expression only appeared for a moment. The two people walked forward in an instant and blocked Tian behind them. "I'm here to pick up the batch of ninja tools under the order of Lord Danzo." A root ninja who walked in said calmly, "Where are the goods? Are they ready?" "Already ready." Ten-san immediately opened a large cabinet next to him, revealing some bundles of kunai and shurikens, and bowed his head respectfully and said, "Just waiting for the two adults to come and pick them up." Hearing this, a root ninja told his companion beside him, "Ji, seal it up." Hearing this, the root ninja named Ji immediately stepped forward, took out a sealing scroll, and sealed all the ninja tools on the spot. Seeing this action, Ten-san hurriedly said, the balance has not been settled yet, a total of. The balance will be settled next time. The root ninja said coldly. Will Lord Danzo refuse to pay you? Stop talking nonsense, take these ninja tools away. As he said, he pointed to the ninja tools placed on some cabinets around. G immediately stepped forward and quickly sealed all these things into the sealing scroll. Seeing that even his own ninja tools stained with Toka softening powder were sealed away, Tiantian couldn't help but speak. As a result, before he could say a few words, he was pulled by his parents. For a moment, Tiantian's mouth bulged, very dissatisfied. The ninjas of the root didn't even look at Tiantian. After watching G seal the ninja tools that could be seen on the scene, he immediately nodded and turned around and walked out. At least I can write one more chapter. The collection and recommendation votes have increased, and a big boss has rewarded me, so I will continue to explode. Chapter 48. Do you think the third generation really Dosen and #039, Tino? Hinata Hiyashi and #039, S Plan 3. After the two ninjas who had been staying close to each other left, Tiantian's father sighed and said, how many times has this happened? We have not received the final payment for several times, and the deposit they paid in advance is not enough. Less and less. Quote. Basically, they are treating us like fat sheep. Tiantian's mother whispered, and it's getting more and more excessive. Is it related to the last time I reported the situation to the third generation? Then what can be done? Tenten's father sighed. Isn't this what living in Konoha village is like? At least compared to others, we are still useful and don't have to worry about danger. It's just that I have to make a lot less than before. Just muddle along. Speaking of this, Dad Tiantian remained silent. I just got the To Sang Ruanjin powder. Next to him, Tenten looked distressed. They took away my Toxiong Ruanjin powder and the contaminated kunai. Hearing this, Tiantian's parents' expressions changed. From today on, you will act as if you have never gotten that thing. Tiantian's father looked at Tiantian nervously. Don't let anyone know that you have that thing. After hearing what his father said, Tiantian nodded quickly. But the next second, Tiantian hesitated and said, Dad, what did you report to the Hokage before? Thinking of what his parents said just now, Tiantian was very confused. It's Danzo's default in payment. Dad Tiantian whispered. A while ago, Genbu came to our store every now and then to pick up ninja tools. As a result, he asked for more and more, and the money he gave became less and less, and he even took it for nothing. Forget it, now they have taken it. The walking ninja tools are all made by us. Because of this matter, your mother talked to me. We couldn't go on like this, so we went to the Hokage-sama's office. Hokage-sama said at that time that he would restrain the Anbu, because we have also been in contact with the ninjas of the Anbu. Although they are cold, when they come to buy ninja tools and other things, they will pay and deliver without delay. Later we learned from a friend that the two ninjas who came to get the ninja tools were not considered Anbu ninjas at all, but were root ninjas subordinate to the Anbu and controlled by Danzo-sama. The ninjas of the roots are very cold and impersonal. They can even directly take some ninjas from some ninja families to join the roots, which is very dangerous. Speaking of this, Tiantian's father looked solemn. So if you don't want to offend me, don't offend me. Hearing this, Tiantian looked dull. Is there such a thing? Then Hokage-sama doesn't care. Tiantian looked at his parents in confusion. It is natural to pay back debts. You have to give money when you buy something. How can you keep delaying it? Master Hokage, don't you care about your subordinates? Hokage-sama has so much time to pay attention to the little things below. Tiantian's mother said in a faint tone, the root belongs to Danzo. If you want to take care of it, you should go to Danzo. And since we went to the Hokage-sama and told him about this last time, the people at the root have become more aggressive, coming more frequently, taking more and more, and even no longer paying. Then go find the Hokage again. Tiantian said without thinking. If you report twice in a row, the Hokage will definitely take it seriously. It's also possible that we didn't have any stores at that time. Seeing Tenten's appearance, Tenten's father sighed. Do you think Hokage-sama really doesn't know? Forget it, let's not talk about it. Speaking of this, Tiantian's father shook his head and continued. Just in case, I won't open the can today. Let's open it tomorrow. All the ninja tools in the ninja shop have been taken away. We need to get a new batch as soon as possible. The ninja school is about to graduate, and those parents will definitely come to order ninja tools. If you run out of money and make some money, your mother and I will stay up all night tonight to build a new ninja tool. Try not to take out those things of yours and use them. If you want to use them, go to the basement to train and don't let those ninjas see you. With that said, Tiantian's father and mother walked to the cabinet aside and simply packed it up. The two ninjas at the base just took away things, causing the cabinet to be a little messy. When Tiantian saw this scene, he was silent on the spot. What she saw when she came back today made her feel a little depressed. Immediately, when my parents went into the house to get busy, they left the shop, with no intention of continuing to train at home. Iruka-sensei. Not long after Tenten walked out of the house, he suddenly saw Iruka and an Anbu ninja moving quickly towards the Hokage's office, which surprised Tenten. Why is Iruka-sensei going to the Hokage's office so late? Every day I have the urge to follow. But thinking of what his parents said, Tiantian was silent for a moment, sighed, and stopped looking. Instead, he decided to go to the jar shop to talk to Mr. Lin Mo. When I go to the jar shop every day. Iruka had already followed the Anbu ninja to the Hokage's office. Looking at Sarutobi Hiruzen, who was already sitting and waiting, Iruka was a little nervous and said quickly, Hokage-sama, you are looking for me. He really didn't expect that the Hokage would actually look for him at night. Did something happen? Look at that. Sarutobi Hiruzen turned his head and looked out the window. Iruka was stunned when he heard this, and subconsciously turned his head to look. For a moment, Iruka's eyes widened suddenly, and he was shocked and angry. Who did this? How dare you be so disrespectful to the previous Hokages? Especially when he saw a big lump of shit-shaped paint on the sculpture of the third Hokage, Iruka kept breathing in his heart. Who else could it be? Sarutobi Hiruzen rubbed his brows with a headache. Other than that boy Naruto, who else can do it? Iruka. Hearing this, Iruka looked stunned. Naruto did it. I just thought Naruto was good today and knew how to read, and in the blink of an eye he applied the Hokage rock. I'm going to catch him now. Immediately, Iruka had a black line on his face and gritted his teeth and said, I will definitely let him clean it up. Need not. Sarutobi Hiruzen raised his hand to stop Iruka's behavior, shook his head and said, this is not why I came to you. Iruka. If it wasn't for this, why did Hokage come to him so late? I came to you because I want to ask you about the recent situation of the child Naruto. Sarutobi Hiruzen looked at Iruka and said, it's been a while since I've seen you to understand Naruto. What's going on lately? It's still the same. Hearing Sarutobi Hiruzen's words, Iruka was stunned, and immediately briefly talked about Uzumaki Naruto's recent situation. Sarutobi Hiruzen nodded from time to time as he listened. But the only thing I'm worried about now is Naruto's clone technique. The next second, Iruka sighed. Naruto's transformation technique is very good, but his clone technique is not good. If there is no breakthrough progress, he still won't be able to graduate this year. Don't worry about his clone technique. After hearing Iruka's words, Sarutobi Hiruzen waved his hands casually and said, let's talk about his transformation first. His transformation is very good. Hokage-sama, do you know? Iruka was surprised when he heard Sarutobi Hiruzen's words. Certainly. Sarutobi Hiruzen then took out a piece of paper and handed the image of Naruto Uzumaki's transformation into a ninja turtle to Iruka. This is the transformation of Naruto who just applied the Hokage rock. Have you seen it? Is it like this? Is this Naruto? After hearing what Sarutobi Hiruzen said and seeing Iruka like this, his expression suddenly twisted. Does that boy Naruto still have this kind of transformation technique? Seeing Iruka's reaction, Sarutobi Hiruzen immediately took a puff of cigarette. It seems that you don't know. This is beyond my expectation. I only know that Naruto's transformation technique was developed into a vulgar seduction technique. Iruka looked embarrassed. As for this ugly turtle, I don't know and I have never seen it. It seems he did it at home. Sarutobi Hiruzen nodded. Okay, let's leave it as it is, go back. Hokage-sama, I'm going to clean up the Hokage rock now. Hearing what Sarutobi Hiruzen said, Iruka quickly said, I promise to clean it up tonight. This is Hokage rock. If you leave it alone, if someone sees it tomorrow, it will be a big deal. Need not. Sarutobi Hiruzen shook his head. Naruto did it. Let him clean it up. Just supervise Naruto to clean up this Hokage rock tomorrow. If he wanted to clean up quickly, he could just ask someone around him to do it. But, hearing what Sarutobi Hiruzen said, Iruka said quickly, if we clean it tomorrow, the smear on the Hokage rock will definitely be seen, and it will be bad then. This is simply damaging the Hokage's image. Haha, it doesn't matter. Hiruzen Sarutobi smiled and shook his head. If you really want to clean it up, go get Naruto to clean it up early tomorrow. All right. Seeing the third Hokage say this, Iruka nodded even though he didn't understand why. Then he left with a dark expression. Naruto, that bastard. Hokage-sama, do you really don't want to clean it up? As Iruka left, the Anbu ninja next to him whispered, if we clean it up, we can clean it up at night. No, let's wait until Naruto cleans up tomorrow. Sarutobi Hiruzen stood up and said, that's it for tonight. Yes. Seeing what the third Hokage said, the Anbu ninja immediately nodded and retreated. After Sarutobi Hiruzen left the Hokage's office, he walked towards his clan. However, not long after he left, he saw Hinata Hiyashi coming towards him, with a slightly surprised look on his face. It's Hiyashi. Hokage-sama. Hinata Hiyashi saw Sarutobi Hiruzen and immediately greeted him with a little respect. Good evening. But there was a sigh in my heart. What a pity. It seems that the true sight guard is really not suitable to be placed here. Good evening. Sarutobi Hiruzen nodded and asked casually, since we met, we just wanted to take a walk and chat. Hinata is about to graduate. Do you have any plans? Hinata Hiyashi nodded and said, we have contacted Yuhi Kurenai Junin, and she will lead the little girl. Yuhi's really red daughter. Hearing this, Sarutobi Hiruzen nodded. Not a bad choice. Although ninja school students will be assigned after graduation, some assignments are already predetermined. He was not surprised by Hinata and Hinata's arrangements. After chatting with Hinata Hazu, they didn't separate until they walked to the door of the house. After saying goodbye to the third Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen, Hyuga Hiyashi headed straight for home. Just as Hyuga Hiyashi was walking towards the Hyuga clan's territory and taking the road where Lin Mo's jar shop was located, he suddenly saw Tiantian walking into the shop. Chapter 49 Tiantian. Is there no other solution? Everything is possible if we open the can. For a moment, Hyuga Hiyashi was surprised. Tiantian had clearly opened the jar, but he actually ran to Mr. Lin Mo's shop. Do you want to have more contact with the owner? For a moment, Hyuga Hiyashi pondered for a moment. In his opinion, those magical jars were sold by Lin Mo. If you have a good relationship with Lin Mo, then it is very likely that you will get good things. We have to let Hinata run here more. For a moment, Hyuga Hiyashi pondered for a moment and made a decision in his heart. This jar is really magical. If you can have a good relationship with the owner, then it is very likely to get more good things. It is impossible for him, the head of the Hyuga clan, to run here often. It is completely unreasonable. But if it is Hinata or Hanabi, it is not impossible. If you can help out in Mr. Lin Mo's shop, it would be the best. These days, any relationship does not appear out of thin air, but requires exchanges. While thinking so, Hyuga Hiyashi left and walked towards his family. And in the jar shop, Lin Mo, who was about to have a midnight snack, looked at Tian who came and raised his eyebrows and said, "What's wrong?" "I was about to go out for ramen, but I didn't expect to meet Tian." When Tian came, He saw through the true vision guard and saw the distress on Tian Tian's face, so he was quite curious about why Tian Tian showed such an expression. You know, Tian Tian still opened a lot of good things today. I want to talk to someone. Hearing Lin Mo's words, Tian Tian who came in was silent for a while, and whispered, something happened at home. What happened? Hearing this, Lin Mo immediately became interested. Don't you run a ninja tool store? What can go wrong? You know, doing business related to ninja tools these days is a panacea business. Tian Tian is also a famous little rich woman in Konoha village. It's about the ninja tool store. Tian Tian whispered. I just found out about the situation my parents encountered recently, I didn't know before. Speaking, Tian Tian simply talked about the root ninja coming to the door, and Lin Mo raised his eyebrows. Such shameless behavior is indeed something that Danzo could do. I can't understand why Dad said that Hokage really didn't know. Tian Tian scratched her head and said confusedly, Dad stopped talking halfway. What's so hard to understand about this? Seeing the confused Tian Tian, Lin Mo smiled faintly and said, in this world, there are white and black things. Some inconvenient things will naturally be done by special people. Hearing Lin Mo's words, Tian Tian was stunned. Is that so? What Lin Mo said was impacting the education she received in the ninja school. Everyone in this world has their own way of doing things. To a third party, it's either good or bad, but in their own eyes, they don't think so. Lin Mo continued to speak slowly. Of course, Danzo is a pure bad seed. Tian Tian. As for the things taken away by the root, don't even think about it. Lin Mo said, your father is right. If you go to the Hokage again, your ninja tool shop may not be able to operate. Konoha village will not be affected by the closure of a ninja tool shop, because if you don't do it, someone else will naturally do it. This is easy to support. Maybe you just finished speaking, and the third generation hasn't agreed yet, and your ninja tool shop will catch fire. Do you think the third generation will blame Danzo, who is also a member of Konoha's top management, for the loss of a ninja tool shop? Even if you blame him, what have you gained? The ninja tool shop is gone, and there has been a loss. This is still the best case. Tian Tian was silent after hearing Lin Mo's words. Is there no way out? After a long silence, Tian Tian looked up with a confused look on his face. What should I do if this continues? Of course. Lin Mo said slowly, before you have enough power, you can only go with the flow. Everything is based on strength. If you have the strength of a shadow, then you are naturally qualified to talk to others and let others look at you squarely. If you have the strength to sweep everything, even go ba Danzo, you can just slap him directly and the other party will have to endure it. I understand. Hearing Lin Mo's words, Tian Tian's eyes were somewhat clear, and he also became more determined. Yes, strength is the most important. As long as I become strong enough, will the top leaders of Konoha still owe my family a debt? Impossible. And if I want to become strong quickly, the fastest shortcut is to open the can. Everything is possible after opening the can. I'm just about to go out for a late-night ramen snack. Lin Mo casually said as he walked, want one? Hearing Lin Mo's words, Tian Tian immediately nodded heavily, and hurriedly followed Lin Mo to Ichiraku Ramen. When the two of them went to Ichiraku Ramen. On the other side, in the study of Hyuga Hiyashi. Hyuga Hinata looked at Hyuga Hiyashi who had returned, and immediately handed over the scroll that had been written and said, Father, I have written down this B-level wind escape ninjutsu. Yes, not bad. Hearing what Hinata Hyuga said, Hiyashi Hyuga nodded. As for the storage ring, you can keep it yourself, don't give it to me, it belongs to you. After he and Hanabi Hyuga came back, Hinata told him about the things that were opened in the jar before. Especially the storage ring, which made him marvel. Later, considering the role of the True Vision Guard, he thought about whether it could be placed in the area where the Hokage's office was located, so he went out for a trip. Unexpectedly, he met the third Hokage, Sarutobi Hiruzen, and had to give up. On the way back, he was also thinking about how to maximize the use of this True Vision Guard. At present, it can only be placed in the territory of the Hyuga clan and radiate the surroundings, so that everything can be seen at the first time to avoid the situation where Hanabi Hyuga and Hinata Hyuga are trained or the strange things opened from the jar are discovered. He was also happy for Hinata to master AB level wind escape ninjutsu. This is a rare ninjutsu, but now it has been written down by Hinata and can be included in the family's ninjutsu library. Even for the Hyuga clan, this B-level wind escape ninjutsu is not something that is commonplace. Okay, father. Hearing what Hyuga Hiyashi said, Hinata nodded. Hyuga Hiyashi took out the True Vision Guard and chose to place it directly in his study. As the patriarch of the Hyuga clan, he knew that there were too many eyes watching the Hyuga family. This True Vision Guard can see anyone who tries to spy or approach. It's a good opportunity to see if there are still people trying to spy outside his family. Chapter 50. What does Danzo want to do so blatantly? Konoha and Hash-039's medical circle is really messed up. Thinking so, Hyuga Hiyashi placed the True Vision Guard. As the True Vision Guard was activated, an invisible energy spread rapidly, like a transparent barrier, tightly protecting the entire study. In an instant, Hyuga Hiyashi felt the flow of this power, and at the same time found that the area covered by the True Vision Guard appeared in his sight. The walls of the study seemed to become transparent, and his vision quickly expanded to the entire territory of the Hyuga family. He could clearly see the family's courtyard, corridors, and every house, even the guards hiding in the shadows and the patrolling clansmen. Really, it's amazing. Feeling this vision, Hyuga Hiyashi was amazed. Incredible, he could easily see through the range of 1,000 meters, and he could see everything clearly. And the buildings would not be affected at all. However, when his sight continued to extend beyond the family territory, his eyes suddenly froze. In the woods covered by the night, he caught several ninjas wearing dark clothes hiding in the depths of the dense forest, their movements cautious and secretive. They were actually in the territory of the Hyuga family, their eyes were cold and focused. These ninjas did not wear obvious signs, but Hyuga Hiyashi recognized them at a glance. They were ninjas of the Root, belonging to that mysterious and dangerous organization. The actions of the Root have always been secretive and efficient, specializing in some shady tasks. Damn, what does Danzo want to do? He even came to the territory to monitor. Looking at this scene, Hyuga Hiyashi's face was extremely ugly, and he was instantly gloomy. He had known about some of the surveillance families of the Root and the Hokage's Anbu for a long time, but there was nothing he could do. As long as he didn't interfere. But that was outside the territory, not in the territory. This Root appeared directly in the territory, which was completely beyond the line. Because the ninjas of the Hyuga clan, once they open their white eyes, can also see these guys, but these guys are actually hiding in the dark so openly. Not worried about being exposed at all. Or is he just not caring? And it is impossible for the Byakugan to be open all the time. Danzo, that mad dog. Hyuga Hiyashi frowned. What exactly does Danzo want to do? He actually sent the ninjas of the Root into the territory of the Hyuga clan and openly monitored the Hyuga clan. Although these ninjas of the Root did not directly enter the important territory of the family, their spying and surveillance seemed to be looking for some kind of opportunity. This behavior made Hyuga Hiyashi feel an inexplicable threat. He understood that these ninjas of the Root would not stop unless Danzo said so. The existence of the Root meant that they could take action at any time. And every move of the Hyuga family was under their surveillance. However, with this uneasiness, Hyuga Hiyashi also felt a little relieved. Fortunately, he had this True Vision Guardian, which allowed him to detect the existence of these peepers in advance. This powerful detection ability allowed him to be prepared before the other party took action and strangled all potential threats in the cradle. It can't be removed, but it can be avoided. Hinata Hiyashi took a deep breath, suppressed the anger in his heart, and secretly thanked Linmo for the jar. If it weren't for this True Vision Guard, he might not be able to grasp the movements outside the family so clearly. The actions of the Root may continue to hide in the dark, until it poses a substantial threat to the family. The owner's jar is really magical. It's a pity that there is no sound. It's really a pity to put this kind of thing in the Hokage's office. The biggest role is to put it in the family. Hinata Hiyashi's thoughts are running fast. Now that the root ninja is so blatantly monitoring, he must make a decision to deal with it. He understands that relying on the surveillance of the True Vision Guard alone is not enough, and some measures must be taken to protect the safety of the family. He quickly thought about how to strengthen the family's defense without alerting the root. Next time I see the third generation, I will communicate with the third generation. Hinata Hiyashi murmured, and he already had a plan in his mind. At night, he would secretly mobilize the elite ninjas in the family and quietly set traps and counter-surveillance to deal with the threats that might come at any time. Now under the range of the True Vision Guard, Hyuga Hiyashi felt a little relieved. But he knew that this was just the beginning. As the root spying became more and more obvious, the future situation might become more complicated and dangerous. And he, as the patriarch of the Hyuga family, must plan ahead to protect the safety and dignity of the family. Beside them, Hyuga Hinata and Hyuga Hanabi, who had been watching all this, looked at each other, somewhat confused as to why their father suddenly showed such an expression. Hyuga Hiyashi slowly retracted his gaze, looked at Hinata and Hanabi in front of him and ordered, "You will walk in the family next, stay away from these places." Hyuga Hiyashi told the location of the root ninjas, and Hyuga Hanabi and Hinata nodded. "Hinata, if you have time, go to the shop owner more often." Suddenly, Hyuga Hiyashi thought of when he came back and saw Tiantian, and told Hinata, "The training ground behind the shop owner can be used for training. If you have time, go into the shop and talk to Mr. Lin Mo. He knows a lot, and you can ask him if you don't understand anything." "Yes, father." Hearing what Hyuga Hiyashi said, Hyuga Hinata nodded gently. And Hyuga Hanabi blinked her beautiful big eyes. I want to go too." "You should continue to use your Sharingan skillfully in the next 2 days." Hyuga Hiyashi shook his head. "Don't open your Sharingan in any emergency." Originally, he wanted Hinata to go with Hanabi, but considering that the ninjas of the root were becoming more and more blatant, he always felt that something was wrong, so it was better to be safe. If that mad dog Danzo knew that his little daughter had a Sharingan. Hearing what Hyuga Hiyashi said, Hyuga Hanabi felt a little disappointed. And at this moment, in Ichiraku Ramen, Touch handed 2 bowls of ramen to Tiantian and Lin Mo with a smile. "You too, the ramen you ordered." "Thank you, Uncle Hand." Tiantian immediately thanked Hand and picked up the chopsticks and started eating. Next to him, Lin Mo also picked up the chopsticks and started eating. However, while eating, he suddenly raised his eyebrows and looked at a table full of people in the corner next to him, listening to the discussion of those people. "Have you heard? There was a big incident in the medical department. In order to compete for a beautiful female medical ninja, a medical ninja beat his captain seriously. Is it true? Where did you get the news?" "Of course it's true. Many people are discussing it today. The 2 ninjas who fought each other seem to be in their 50s or 60s. Hehe, I know some inside information. The female medical ninja is just a chunin, but she lives a happy life in Konoha village. There is also a big house near the ninja family. It was bought by a medical ninja. While dating that ninja, she also brought the one who beat him back to the house, and then was seen by his captain." Chapter 51. Danzo-sama was ambushed. Sarutobi Hiruzen and Hasho 39's suspicion. Listening to these discussions, Lin Mo's face became more and more strange. Is the medical department of Konoha village so messy? Next to him, Tiantian also heard these words. His face suddenly turned ruddy, and he lowered his head and continued to eat ramen. Lin Mo also found that not only this table of people were communicating, but people at other tables were also whispering. Obviously, this matter was quite lively. And even some civilians were talking about ninjas. While listening, Lin Mo continued to eat ramen, and time passed quietly. Soon, after eating and drinking, Lin Mo and Tiantian walked out of Ichiraku Ramen shop. "Mr. Lin Mo, my parents should be able to open cans in your store tomorrow." Walking out of Ichiraku Ramen, Tiantian said to Lin Mo hurriedly, "We were originally planning to come in the evening, but something like that happened. Well, welcome. Hearing Tiantian's words, Lin Mo nodded. I usually open the door from morning to now. Mr. Lin Mo, have you ever considered actively soliciting customers? Tiantian said curiously. If you want to sell more cans, you can take the initiative to find merchants so that you can sell more cans. Tiantian knew that Lin Mo really wanted to sell more cans. But he didn't go out to contact merchants. Such a contradiction still confused Tiantian. That also requires them to believe. Lin Mo shook his head gently. Just soliciting customers is a troublesome thing. It's better to wait for customers to come to the door automatically, plus your introduction, it's enough. 100,000 a can is not something that ordinary people can afford. Even if it's a businessman, it's impossible to spend 100,000 to buy an inexplicable can. Instead of going through so much trouble, it is better to wait for customers to come to the store. That's right. Tiantian was stunned when she heard Lin Mo's words, and immediately nodded in agreement. If she hadn't learned about the magic of the jar from Hinata, and was brought by Hinata to open the jar, and wanted to understand Lin Mo's marketing method, she would not have known Lin Mo. Now it's good, she has known Lin Mo and opened a good thing. Oh. Tiantian suddenly thought of something, and knocked her head in annoyance. I forgot to say it. When I went back, I was busy talking to my parents about the jar, and didn't talk about marketing. I don't know if my parents have thought of this. I have to remind them when I go back at night. It just so happens that her family's ninja tool store can be marketed in this way to make some money. Thinking of this, Tiantian and Lin Mo walked and talked, and when they walked all the way to the jar shop with Lin Mo, they hurriedly left. And Lin Mo chose to close the door and go upstairs to sleep. It's so late, and no one can come to open the jar. But there will be one tomorrow. Tiantian's parents. In that case, another 20 jars will be sold, and he will be one step closer to getting his own exclusive jar. So happy. Thinking of this, Lin Mo went to bed. No words were spoken all night. The next day, the sun spread its golden wings like a peacock spreading its tail. Congratulations on signing in successfully and getting 200 ordinary jars. When Lin Mo woke up, a prompt that only Lin Mo could see appeared. Seeing this prompt, Lin Mo's whole person instantly became energetic. Compared with yesterday, today's signing in got 200 jars, and the number directly doubled. He seriously suspected that the number of jars obtained by signing in every day might be related to the number of jars sold. Of course, it could also be random. Thinking of this, Lin Mo got up and simply packed up and went downstairs. Then he waved his hand at the cabinet behind the counter, and the jars obtained by signing in fell silently on the cabinet. The cabinet, which originally had few jars, now had more jars. Then Lin Mo opened the door. I have nothing to do, so I'll have a bowl of ramen. As Lin Mo walked out, he fell into deep thought. It seemed that he had to find a new food, he couldn't eat ramen every day. Thinking so, Lin Mo walked on. However, as he walked, he saw patrolling ninjas passing by, which made Lin Mo look up suddenly and raise his eyebrows. There are more patrolling ninjas today. You know, there were almost no ninjas patrolling here yesterday. He could even sense that the atmosphere of these ninjas was extremely serious, which made Lin Mo fall into deep thought. Did something happen in Konoha village last night that he didn't know about? Not only Lin Mo was curious, but other villagers in Konoha village also looked at him curiously and whispered. It's strange, why are there ninjas patrolling here today, and I saw 3 waves this morning? I don't know, it looks like they are looking for someone, but it also looks like they are not. It's very strange. There have been thieves who have robbed several stores here before, and there haven't been so many ninjas patrolling here. One after another whispered, very confused. Lin Mo heard these discussions along the way, which made him very curious about what happened. And at this moment, on the other side, the Hokage's office is located. When Sarutobi Hiruzen came over, he frowned. Because along the way, he actually saw root ninjas wandering in the village. Even though it was very secretive, it seemed very open and above board to him. What was Danzo going to do? Thinking of this, Sarutobi Hiruzen walked to the door of the Hokage's office and said in a deep voice, "Send a message to Danzo." What does the captain want to do? Even the ninjas of the village security department have been mobilized. What does he want to do? Just as Sarutobi Hiruzen finished speaking, a ninja from the Anbu appeared out of thin air in front of him and said respectfully, "According to the intelligence, Danzo was attacked last night, and some ninjas from the route were also attacked. Now Konoha has been under martial law." Hearing this, Sarutobi Hiruzen's face changed drastically. Danzo was attacked. What happened? Why didn't you tell me in time? How is he? What a joke. Danzo usually lives in the root organization, how could he be attacked inexplicably? It happened in the second half of the night. You were already asleep at that time, so I didn't disturb you. The Anbu ninja said in a deep voice. Danzo is fine, but his whole body is soft and weak. It seems that he was poisoned by some strange poison. Many ninjas in the route are weak all over, causing a lot of trouble. They are currently receiving treatment. We have taken martial law action as soon as possible and guarded the entrances and exits of the village. We didn't find any suspicious people. Continue to send more people and strictly check the environment around the route. Hearing this, the third generation Hokage said solemnly, Danzo and the root organization have been attacked. This is not a trivial matter. Immediately study the poison in Danzo. In addition, let Danzo come to see me. You know, the root organization is very secretive. Even ordinary Chunin and even Jonin can't know. Danzo has always lived in seclusion, how could he be attacked? Sarutobi Hiruzen even suspected that Danzo was directing and acting himself. Or something went wrong in the research. Hearing the words of the third Hokage, the Anbu ninja immediately obeyed the order respectfully and disappeared from the spot in an instant. Just as the Anbu ninja disappeared, Sarutobi Hiruzen's door was suddenly pushed open. Chapter 52 Danzo. Hiruzen, you will regret this. Sarutobi Hiruzen. Forget this. Sarutobi Hiruzen suddenly turned around and saw a root ninja walking and pushing a wheelchair. In the wheelchair, Danzo was paralyzed, his face extremely angry. Hiruzen, I have been plotted. Send your Anbu out to me to check who has been in and out of the village during this period, and then block the entrance and exit of the village. Sarutobi Hiruzen. Seeing the paralyzed Danzo, Sarutobi Hiruzen looked strange. Can Danzo still have this day? Anbu have their own responsibilities and cannot be transferred at will. The next second, Sarutobi Hiruzen shook his head and said, the entrances and exits of the village cannot be blocked. Students from nearby schools graduate, and businessmen from outside the village come here from time to time. If the entrances and exits are blocked, it will easily affect the newly graduated children. Get the task. But are you sure you were plotted against? There's nothing wrong with you, and you're not injured. Saying that, Sarutobi Hiruzen carefully looked Danzo up and down, frowned and said, if they were spies from other ninja villages, they shouldn't be like this. And how could they possibly know where the base of the organization is? You know, the location of Konoha village and the organization are more secretive than the locations of Anbu. Normal ninjas don't know the existence of roots. He would only regard the root ninja as Anbu. Spies from other ninja villages touched the ninja core base of a ninja village. How is this possible? So I suspect it was definitely someone from the village who did it. Danzo's face was dark and he said in a low voice, otherwise, how could I be assassinated? And a large number of people were assassinated. This time, it is very likely to be a warning. How brave. Do you have a target of suspicion? Hearing Danzo's words, Sarutobi Hiruzen frowned. How do you feel now? In Sarutobi Hiruzen's view, the person who attacked the root organization must be from the village. He could understand Danzo being hated. But it would be too wanton to poison the organization's location. This matter cannot be left alone. After hearing what Sarutobi Hiruzen said, Danzo said coldly without thinking, it must be the Hyuga clan. Now that the Hyuga clan has become a danger, Hiruzen, we must clean up. Sarutobi Hiruzen. Hearing this, Sarutobi Hiruzen felt a toothache. How has the Hyuga clan provoked Danzo recently? How come you are so sure that it is the Hyuga clan? Sarutobi Hiruzen frowned and looked at Danzo. Danzo said coldly, "Why don't you think about it? The Hyuga clan has Byakugan, and it is easiest to find the location of the root organization. How can other people know where the organization's base is? Moreover, I recently sent people to monitor the territory of the Hyuga clan. I seriously suspect that it is because of this that the Hyuga clan would attack our organization and inflict such unknown poison. Now the Hyuga clan in Konoha village has become more and more dangerous. We must clean it up." Sarutobi Hiruzen. Hearing Danzo's words, Sarutobi Hiruzen rubbed his eyebrows with a headache. Why did you send people to monitor the Hyuga clan? And also went to their territory? Isn't this a door-to-door provocation? If you say it blatantly, I will spy on you. Because we need to nip danger in the bud. Danzo said coldly. If the Hyuga clan has a clear conscience, there will be no objection. Now my root location has encountered an unknown toxin. I am sure that this is definitely the Hyuga clan's revenge on my root organization. The next one, Hiruzen, I don't think there is any need to keep the Hyuga clan. Sarutobi Hiruzen. Withdraw your men. Sarutobi Hiruzen took a puff of cigarette and said slowly, this matter was definitely not done by the Hyuga clan. Don't be so hostile to the Hyuga clan. Konoha cannot afford to lose any more. He knew Danzo too well. As expected, Danzo probably wanted to do some eye-rolling research. Hiruzen, you must listen to me on this matter. Hearing what Sarutobi Hiruzen said, Danzo was furious, otherwise you will regret it. If possible, Danzo really remembered and slapped Hiruzen Sarutobi's desk hard. But now he has no strength in his body. No need to discuss this matter. Sarutobi Hiruzen shook his head and ordered to the Anbu ninja beside him, send Danzo to the medical department and let the medical department see if they can research anything. After hearing what Sarutobi Hiruzen said, the Anbu ninja next to him immediately stepped forward and took the initiative to push Danzo away. Danzo was furious and wanted to say something, but he couldn't move at all, so he could only collapse in the wheelchair and be pushed away. Go check the root organization's recent membership recruitment list. Seeing this, the third Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen continued to command into the air in front of him. See if there are any people from the Hyuga clan, and help me invite the head of the Hyuga clan. I'm afraid the Hyuga clan will be involved in the assassination of Danzo. Assist us in our investigation. Quote. There was a respectful response in the air. Sarutobi Hiruzen sat back on his chair, frowned and lightly tapped the table, murmuring, in such a situation, we must speed up, otherwise it will be affected, and it will be bad. While speaking, Hiruzen Sarutobi placed his hands on the crystal ball in front of him and began to inject chakra. And at this moment, the other side, Ichiraku Ramen Shop. Lin Mo was eating ramen and quietly listening to the whispers of people in the corner. I know the reason. It seems that Danzo was attacked, so there are so many ninjas patrolling today. I heard it from my friend. No, I heard that a ninja from the Anbu was poisoned and felt weak all over. I saw a place this morning where many people were carried out. I don't know what happened. The place was blocked. It was scary. Say less. There are ninjas patrolling everywhere now. It would be bad if they heard it. Tisk, where do you think I heard it from? I heard it from them. Listening to these people's discussions, Lin Mo's face became more and more strange. Danzo, the Anbu people were attacked. Poisoned. Weak all over. Isn't that the effect of the Tenka softening powder prescribed by Tiantian? Thinking of what Tiantian said yesterday, a ninja from the root went to her ninja tool store and took the ninja tools without paying. The next day there was news that the root organization was poisoned. And the one who was hit was Danzo. How did Tiantian know the location of the root organization's base? Could it be that the 10 fragrance muscle softening powder was first applied to the ninja tools, and then the ninja tools were taken away, and it was too late to stop it? For a moment, Lin Mo pondered and soon figured out the general situation. If you want to confirm it, you have to wait for Tiantian to come to the store to ask. After all, Tiantian said that her parents would come to open the can today. By the way, not only this matter, but also a big thing happened at the Hokage Rock. The sculptures of the successive Hokage were painted. Suddenly, someone thought of something and said quickly, I suspect that so many ninjas patrolling may also be related to this matter. Chapter 53 Naruto and Hasho 39's plan to get rich. Mr. Iruka, please lend me some money. I also know about this, and I don't know who did it. It's so brave. Especially the third Hokage, the smearing was very exaggerated. I don't know why those ninjas didn't clean it up. I'm also confused about this. That's the Hokage rock. It was smeared and not cleaned up in time. Could it be that you want to find the person who did such evil things? Topics about the Huiying rock being smeared were talked about one after another. Lin Mo also listened more carefully and shook his head slightly. You don't need to think about it to know that it must have been done by that guy Naruto. When the guy came to see me yesterday, he was carrying a paint bucket. When Lin Mo shook his head. The other side. Uzumaki Naruto's home. Uzumaki Naruto was sitting on the bed, looking at the finished manga in front of him, holding his chin and murmuring, I don't need to worry about the exam at all now. Teacher Mizuki is here to take advantage of me, and with the tacit approval of the third generation, I can get the sealing scroll and learn the multiple shadow clone techniques on it. What I want to do now is make money. Then I should take advantage of this opportunity. If possible, memorize as many ninjutsu as possible and then sell them. Ninjutsu is very valuable. As for how to sell it, the first mission we took on was a Kurikage who came to trouble us. The short winter melon in black in this comic also sent some Kurikage ghost Momochi Zabuza, which proves that this short winter melon has money. I have to check it out, and then I'll take the opportunity to go out of the village and see where I can sell ninjutsu. Yeah, perfect. As Uzumaki Naruto continued to whisper and think, a rough plan was soon gradually completed. At present, the only way for him to get money quickly is to use the sealed book. The ninjutsu there is a secret that is not passed down in the village. If you sell it for money, it will definitely be valuable. Whist shadow and all that, you can ask this idiot teacher directly when the time comes. Very well, let's go to class. In one night, Uzumaki Naruto had read through the 10 chapters of the manga. He has already predicted the future. Thinking this, Uzumaki Naruto hammered his fist hard. After putting the comic books away close to my body, I went out decisively. I still have to go to school today. With this thought in mind, Uzumaki Naruto went straight to school. Before entering the school, I saw Iruka standing quietly at the school entrance, as if waiting for someone. Uzumaki Naruto skillfully stretched out his hand to say hello, Iruka-sensei, good morning. With that said, Uzumaki Naruto prepared to walk into the school. But before he walked in, Iruka pulled him back with a dark face. Naruto, you don't need to go to class today. Hearing Iruka's words, Uzumaki Naruto's eyes widened and he said in surprise, I don't have to go to class. Then I'll go back. Although he didn't understand why Iruka said this, Uzumaki Naruto thought it was a good thing not to go to class, and immediately turned around and left excitedly. But as soon as he took 2 steps, Iruka grabbed him and made him unable to move. Before that, you should follow me to the Hokage rock to wipe off the paint you applied. Iruka said expressionlessly. Then come with me to apologize in front of the Hokage. Upon hearing Iruka's words, Uzumaki Naruto's expression suddenly changed. What Hokage rock paint, Teacher Iruka, I don't know what you are talking about. Iruka sneered. Do you think what you did last night was perfect? If the Hokage hadn't come to me, I really don't know that you would have the guts to do such a thing. Uzumaki Naruto. Upon hearing Iruka's words, Uzumaki Naruto's mouth twitched. It turns out the problem lies here. Having read the comics, he already knew that the third Hokage had a crystal ball in his hand, which could be used to monitor some places. Uzumaki Naruto suddenly became dejected. I understand. Fortunately, I still wanted to do it perfectly, but I didn't expect that the old man would see it. Damn it. Tomorrow is the graduation exam for the ninja school that you failed to pass twice before. Yesterday you just read books and didn't participate in practical training, so I won't say anything. While holding Uzumaki Naruto, Iruka gritted his teeth and said, "In the end, you held a big one for me and smeared the Hokage rock in the blink of an eye. What qualifications do you have to do this? If you don't clean up for me today, you can't even think about going back." Thinking of being called over by the third generation yesterday and looking at the smearing of the Hokage rock, he felt like the sky was about to fall. I know. Hearing Iruka's words, Uzumaki Naruto, who was being carried, curled his lips. "I won't go back if I don't go back. Anyway, I will be alone when I go back." Iruka. Hearing Uzumaki Naruto's words, Iruka frowned, remained silent for a moment, and said slowly, "If you finish cleaning up during the day today, I will treat you to Ichiraku ramen, how about it?" However, what Uzumaki Naruto said next was beyond Iruka's expectations. When Uzumaki Naruto heard Iruka's words, he curled his lips in disapproval and said, "Is there only Ichiraku ramen? What else do you want?" Iruka's face darkened. Isn't Naruto satisfied with Ichiraku ramen? It shouldn't be. Even Naruto can't eat Ichiraku ramen all the time. He knew that Uzumaki Naruto's favorite food was Ichiraku ramen. "I want to borrow some money from you, Mr. Iruka." Uzumaki Naruto was a little embarrassed, and Iruka frowned. "Borrow money? What are you borrowing money for? Do you want to buy something? This is not a graduation exam. After graduation, you will become a ninja. I want to purchase some ninja tools, things used by ninjas, and then complete tasks." Uzumaki Naruto clasped his fingers and said, "So I need money. That's what ninjas who take on missions out of the village need to prepare for. Your newly graduated students will not take on such missions." Iruka was speechless. After you graduate, you just accept some tasks in the village. They are usually in E level or D level. There is no need to prepare for those. Secondly, do you think you can pass the graduation exam? What if you fail? I will definitely pass the exam. Uzumaki Naruto puffed up his face. "When I have money, I will pay it back to you, Iruka-sensei." Hearing this, Iruka nodded. "Then I'll lend it to you then. How about 5,000 taels? That's enough." "Not enough." Iruka. Hearing Uzumaki Naruto's words, Iruka mentioned Uzumaki Naruto with a strange look on his face, with a look of doubt on his face. "Not enough. How much do you want to borrow? You know, the reward for a ninja's E-level mission is several hundred taels. The D-level mission is between 500 taels and 10,000 taels." Uzumaki Naruto said 5,000 taels is not enough. What a joke. What is this kid doing borrowing so much money? 1,000,000 taels. Uzumaki Naruto blinked and looked at Iruka. "It's really not possible, even 800,000 taels is not impossible." Chapter 54 Naruto, are you being blackmailed? Hinata Hiyashi. This is the effect of the Toka Sophony. 1,000,000. Hearing Uzumaki Naruto's words, Iruka's face turned green. "You want to borrow 1,000,000? Do you know how much more than 100 is? Do you have no idea about money?" Iruka had thought that Naruto would borrow tens of thousands. But unexpectedly, Uzumaki Naruto actually wanted to borrow 1,000,000. Looking at Naruto Uzumaki like that, it's not like he doesn't know a million. "Of course I know." Uzumaki Naruto looked at Iruka suspiciously. "Iruka-sensei, you don't have one, do you? You don't have a wife. You're usually alone. You get paid for teaching. After so many years, you should have saved a lot of money." Iruka. Hearing Uzumaki Naruto's words, Iruka's face turned dark. "I don't have that much. 1,000,000 is not a small amount of money. Especially why does this boy Naruto speak so unpleasantly now? He doesn't even have a wife. Didn't he? He just doesn't want to look for it. How many do you have?" When Iruka thought this way, Uzumaki Naruto was a little entangled and said, "If you don't have 1,000,000, 800,000 will do. I have already opened 2 jars at the shop owner's place, and I can open 8 more jars. And 8 jars require 800,000 taels. No." Hearing Uzumaki Naruto's words and seeing Uzumaki Naruto's serious face, Iruka's face turned dark. "What do you want so much money for? Have you been blackmailed by someone? Tell the teacher the truth." He wanted to see what Naruto Uzumaki was doing with so much money. Buying ninja tools. I spend so much money to buy ninja tools, and I can't even put them on my body, so I can just throw them away one by one. Even ordinary chunin don't have that much money. You know, AC level mission to leave the village is only tens of thousands of taels, and it is divided. An ordinary ninja would not be able to save 1,000,000 taels in a short time. Your ninja tools also need to be repaired, your equipment needs to be updated, and you may even need to learn something, all of which require money. Even those jonin may not be able to take it out immediately. I'm not being blackmailed, I'm just short of money. Naruto Uzumaki curled his lips and said, "Who can blackmail me? I am the only one who can blackmail others, and I will not look at such things as losing status. I just need money. I have graduated, so I can't celebrate it properly. Buy something. Besides, Iruka-sensei, it's not like I won't pay it back. I will pay it back to you when I have money." The jar was so magical, he wouldn't tell Iruka. When Iruka heard Uzumaki Naruto's words, he felt a toothache. This guy is definitely dishonest. But after thinking about it at this time, he couldn't think of what Uzumaki Naruto would do with so much money. "I don't have the hundreds of thousands you want." Seeing Uzumaki Naruto staring at him, not even willing to move, Iruka's face turned dark, and he gritted his teeth and said, "But I still have the little Shiwan. After you clean up the Hokage rock for me, as long as I pass the ninja school graduation exam, I will all lend it to you if you can't pass." Now that we know that Uzumaki Naruto is short of money, there is a way. He directly used money to promote Naruto. As long as Naruto cleans up today's Hokage rock and passes the ninja school graduation exam, it's not impossible. But if you don't pass, I'll be sorry. Real. When Uzumaki Naruto heard Iruka's words, his eyes suddenly widened. "Keep your word. I didn't expect Iruka-sensei to borrow it. After all, Mr. Iruka does have no money. Unexpectedly, I was able to give him 100,000 yuan. It's time to open another jar." "Certainly." Iruka squinted his eyes. "The premise is that you wipe off the paint on the Hokage rock today and pass the graduation exam. In addition, this money is borrowed and must be repaid." "No problem." Uzumaki Naruto rubbed his hands and said excitedly, "I promise to complete the mission today." Seeing Uzumaki Naruto's enthusiasm being aroused, Iruka suddenly looked satisfied. Then he took Uzumaki Naruto straight to the Hokage rock. This scene was also seen by some villagers who came to watch, and their eyes widened. "I asked who in Konoha village has the guts to smear the Hokage rock. It turns out to be that boy. This bastard is always causing mischief. Aren't you afraid of retribution if you paint the sculptures of past Hokage like this?" When Naruto Uzumaki heard these comments, he curled his lips and said, "A bunch of idiots who like to be long-winded. Stop talking nonsense and do it quickly." Seeing that Uzumaki Naruto still had time to turn around, Iruka said with a black line, "You applied too much. If you don't hurry up, you may not be able to finish it during the day. Don't expect me to help you." "Yes, yes, yes." Upon hearing Iruka's words, Uzumaki Naruto immediately started working. After all, as long as you listen to Mr. Iruka, you are guaranteed to be able to open a jar. And at this time, the Hokage's office not far away. Sarutobi Hiruzen looked at this scene, smoking a cigarette and nodding approvingly. Naruto is quite obedient, which is good. Iruka was pretty good at teaching Naruto, so it was not in vain that he singled him out. Dong dong dong. At this time, a knock on the door suddenly sounded, and Sarutobi Hiruzen immediately said, "Come in." "Hokage-sama, are you looking for me?" As soon as Sarutobi Hiruzen finished speaking, Hinata Hiyashi walked in and said with a little respect. The third Hokage actually came to see him early in the morning. He didn't think of any reason along the way. "After all, we just talked last night." Rizu. Looking at Hinata Hizashi coming in, Sarutobi Hiruzen sighed. Some ninjas from the Anbu were plotted last night, and Danzo was the first to bear the brunt. Currently, considering that it was someone inside Konoha who did it, I hope you can mobilize the Hyuga clan. People, Use your white eyes to investigate and look for clues. Quote. The leader's advisor was assassinated. Hearing Sarutobi Hiruzen's words, Hinata Hazu looked shocked, and understanding instantly appeared in his eyes. No wonder there were so many ninja patrols this morning, it turned out to be this reason. But can that old guy be plotted? He was doubtful. Yes. Sarutobi Hiruzen nodded again and said, the only good thing at the moment is that the murderer did not hurt anyone, but it cannot be ruled out that this is his test. At present, Danzo and some Anbu ninjas are weak. It is a new type of toxin, and it is not possible. I don't know if there is any harm, so Konoha village needs your help now. Quote. Sarutobi Hiruzen briefly talked about Danzo's situation, and Hinata and Hinashi nodded slightly. But in his heart, Hinata Hazu stirred up a storm. Wasn't this symptom what Hinata told him yesterday about the effect of the Toka Ruanjan powder prescribed by the shopkeeper every day? Although he was surprised in his heart, Hinata Hazu was still very calm on the surface and listened quietly. Chapter 55. The third generation is still so shrewd and calculating, the grandson of the Hokage. Haha. I understand. After listening, Hyuga Hiyashi said respectfully, I will mobilize the idle clansmen to assist the Anbu to participate. Since Sarutobi Hiruzen came to him, he couldn't refuse. Well, okay. Hearing what Hyuga Hiyashi said, Sarutobi Hiruzen nodded. He didn't doubt that this was done by Hyuga Hiyashi. Because there was no motive. Then he chatted with Hyuga Hiyashi again. Sarutobi Hiruzen suddenly thought of something and said, Hiyashi, when are you going to send your Hanabi to school? My daughter is only 7 years old now, and I am not going to send her to the ninja school. Hearing Sarutobi Hiruzen's words, Hyuga Hiruzen said softly, because my daughter has mastered all the knowledge in the ninja school, she is currently practicing with me. Well, although the disciples of the big family are different from the civilian ninjas, it is best to integrate into the school. Sarutobi Hiruzen took a puff of cigarette and said slowly, after all, the companions of the children are the most important. It is also easy to make friends in school. Hanabi is also smart. If she is enrolled, I can arrange her to the class where my grandson is. It is my daughter's honor to be in the same class with the grandson of the Hokage. Hearing Sarutobi Hiruzen's words, Hyuga Hiruzen smiled and said, I will ask my daughter when I go back. This child has been independent since she was a child. Even I have to ask her sometimes. Well. Hearing Hyuga Hiruzen's words, Sarutobi Hiruzen nodded with satisfaction. Then he chatted with Hyuga Hiyashi again and started to deal with things. Hyuga Hiyashi left the Hokage's office. After leaving the Hokage's office and walking out of the Hokage building, Hyuga Hiyashi, who was originally smiling, suddenly became gloomy, and his fists in his sleeves clenched slightly. The third Hokage actually set his sights on his daughter Hanabi. He naturally knew what kind of character Konohamaru was. If he was not the grandson of the Hokage, he would have been called to his parents for his mischievousness. When his eldest daughter Hinata ran away from the family and encountered that kid, there was also a shadow of the third Hokage. He was disappointed with Hinata at that time, not because of Hinata's strength, but because of Hinata's mentality. As the eldest daughter of the main family, under his watch, she was still timid in the competition with her sister, and she couldn't bear to use heavy hands, and lost to her sister who was 5 years younger than her. As the heir of the family, such a mentality is not acceptable, so he was very disappointed. But in that moment, after Hinata Hyuga ran away from the Hyuga clan, she was actually bullied by 3 little kids. This is ridiculous. As the eldest daughter of the Hyuga clan, how could people around her not know Hinata? Especially around the Hyuga clan. And he had a special protector arranged for Hinata, but he didn't get to Hinata in time because of some things. When he got to Hinata, a young Nine-Tails Jinchuriki who was also under constant surveillance appeared around the Hyuga clan's territory. He was beaten up for saving Hinata. He absolutely didn't believe that there was no calculation of the third generation. Now, it's not long since then, and Sarutobi Hiruzen has set his sights on his second daughter again. It's ridiculous. While thinking so in his heart, Hyuga Hiyashi had already walked a distance away from the Hokage building. He looked up and saw Uzumaki Naruto cleaning the paint on the Hokage rock not far away, and suddenly narrowed his eyes. This nine-tailed kid actually smeared the Hokage rock. So, it won't be long before this nine-tailed kid gets the seal scroll. It should be in 1 or 2 days. Thinking of the contents of the comics he saw in Mr. Lin Mo's shop yesterday, he also roughly knew the future of the nine-tailed kid. At that time, he was still shocked that the seal scroll was so easy to get. Just think about it and you will know that this is the method of the third generation. Shrewd and calculating. Hinata Hiyashi sighed in his heart. Not only is he strong, but he is also so calculating that he almost calculated the Hyuga clan. But with the owner's jar, it can completely change everything. The next second, Hinata Hiyashi thought of Lin Mo, who ran a jar shop, and a smile appeared on his face again. Before the third generation has time, he must build a good relationship with the owner. And it's interesting that Danzo was attacked. When we go back, ask Hinata about what she opened that day. How could she have attacked the root organization? But at this moment, we can send someone to investigate openly. Hyuga Hiyashi thought of Danzo again, and immediately walked towards his family. After returning to the family, he quickly arranged for people to investigate. Soon, the Hyuga clan started to operate. Continuous information was gathered and sent to Hyuga Hiyashi. The root organization was attacked by an unknown poison, and the whole body was weak and powerless, and even the chakra could not be mobilized. The hospital has not yet investigated it. Danzo, this mad dog, actually suspected our Hyuga clan. But how did the Tenka softening powder in Tiantian's hand get to the root organization? Looking at the pieces of information in front of him, Hyuga Hiyashi fell into deep thought. Hinata is currently in school, and he can't go to school to ask Hinata about the Tenka softening powder. He has to wait for Hinata to come back from school. Or he can go to the jar shop to ask Mr. Lin Mo, but it's not good to ask so directly. Finally, he can go to Tiantian's ninja tool shop and ask Tiantian, but this is also impossible. He doesn't think Tiantian will tell him about this. Especially now that the root organization has problems, this kind of thing can only be kept secret. Ninja tool shop, root. Hinata Hiyashi pondered and felt that he should have guessed it right. Just go buy a batch of ninja tools. Hinata Hiyashi immediately got up and walked out, saying, "Come here." As soon as the voice fell, a member of the Hyuga clan suddenly appeared in front of him. Go order a batch of ninja tools. Hinata Hiyashi ordered. By the way, tell me about the situation in the ninja tool shop. As Hinata Hiyashi gave the order, this member of the Hyuga clan nodded and left quickly. Time passed quietly. After this clan member returned, he immediately reported the situation of the Tenten family's ninja tool shop. Sure enough. When he heard that he could not order ninja tools and there were no ninja tools in the shop, Hyuga Hiyashi confirmed his guess in his heart. It was the same as he thought. After guessing the reason, Hyuga Hiyashi immediately stopped thinking about it, and began to mobilize the people of the Hyuga clan to actively cooperate with the actions of the Anbu. For a while, the whole Konoha village was busy. Until the afternoon, no clues were found, so they had to give up temporarily. It's finally done. At this time, the Hokage rock. Uzumaki Naruto looked at the cleaned Hokage rock in front of him, sat on the ground, and panted, "I'm so tired." Do you know the consequences now? Beside him, Iruka sneered, "What did you do earlier? Thanks to the third generation for not being so broad-minded with you. Now come with me to apologize to the third generation." Chapter 56 Tiantian brings people to open the can. Tiantian gloats over the misfortune Danzo deserve. After hearing Iruka's words, Uzumaki Naruto's expression changed drastically. You still want to go to the third generation? He doesn't like seeing the third generation now. Iruka's face was dark. You have painted the third generation sculpture the worst, if you still want to borrow money. I'll go. Hearing Iruka's words, Uzumaki Naruto sighed and said, "It's not enough for me to go." Immediately, Uzumaki Naruto, led by Iruka, went to the Hokage's office and apologized to the third Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen. After leaving, Iruka dragged him to Ichiraku ramen shop and invited him to eat ramen. That, Iruka-sensei. Looking at Iruka who was eating ramen, Uzumaki Naruto squinted his eyes and whispered, "Can you give me the money in advance? If you can give yourself the money in advance, you can open the jar later." No. Hearing Uzumaki Naruto's words, Iruka suddenly looked serious. "You must pass the ninja school exam. Tell me honestly, what are you doing with so much money?" Now that Uzumaki Naruto had finished cleaning the paint, all that was left was the ninja school graduation exam. Now that he has time, he can ask Uzumaki Naruto properly. 100,000 taels is more than enough to purchase ninja tools. Flowers. Uzumaki Naruto sighed. What else can it be used for? Iruka. Of course I know it's a flower. Iruka said with a black line. I'm asking you where you spent your money. I won't tell you. Uzumaki Naruto curled his lips, causing a black line to appear on Iruka's forehead. He wanted to punch Uzumaki Naruto in the head. But thinking that children also have secrets, Iruka shook his head and stopped asking. Anyway, it's not just about doing bad things. Time passed quickly. After Iruka and Uzumaki Naruto finished their ramen, they paid and left. It was already time for school to end, so Uzumaki Naruto did not follow Iruka back to school, but separated from Iruka. It's a pity. If Iruka-sensei had given me money, I could go to the shopkeeper and open the can now. Naruto Uzumaki muttered as he walked towards his home. He really wanted to open the can earlier. It would be better if he could find something that could help him make money at this time, such as how to copy the Book of Sealing. Naruto. Just when Uzumaki Naruto was thinking this, a greeting sounded, making Uzumaki Naruto look up. When he saw Mizuki coming towards him, Uzumaki Naruto's eyes widened and he said in shock, "Mizuki-sensei. No, this bastard came to find him so quickly. You didn't come to school today. Are you sure about your clone technique?" Mizuki said straight to the point with a smile. "After all, the exam will be held in 2 days. I heard that you were dragged by Iruka to clean the Hokage rock today, and you didn't even practice." Not sure. Uzumaki Naruto's expression became more and more strange, and the contents of the comics he had seen appeared in his mind. "I have a way for you to pass." Mizuki, on the other hand, said to Uzumaki Naruto, "Do you want to know?" Uzumaki Naruto nodded heavily. Then he and Mizuki left the spot and walked to an unoccupied chair nearby to communicate. It wasn't until Mizuki left that Uzumaki Naruto's mouth twitched. In the comics, this guy came because he failed the exam. Now I haven't even taken the exam yet, so I just came directly, not following the situation in the comics at all. What a hell. But this is my good opportunity, and the third generation will definitely give in. I have to memorize it carefully, speed up my actions, and use more time to record the ninjutsu on the scroll. This is my only chance to get rich, I can't miss it. Thinking of some ninjutsu registrations in the sealed book, Uzumaki Naruto's heart burned. Those are all good things. When Uzumaki Naruto thought so, Mizuki, who had already left, had a smile on his face. He really didn't expect that it would go so smoothly. Uzumaki Naruto took it seriously. If it hadn't been for the recent situation in Konoha village today, he wouldn't be so anxious. He also heard about the plot against Anbu. It seemed like they were spies from other villages, letting him know that he couldn't wait any longer. While many ninjas were patrolling a certain area, it was time for him to take action. Speaking of which, it's just a good time to replenish your ninja tools. If you leave the village, the ninja tools outside will definitely not be cheaper than in the village. As Mizuki thought this, Mizuki suddenly stopped going back to the school dormitory, changed the street, and walked towards the ninja shop. Soon, Mizuki arrived at Tiantian's ninja shop. This ninja shop is very popular with some ninjas. They also like to buy here during normal times. But when Mizuki arrived, he saw Tiantian's parents placing ceramic jars in front of the ninja shop. It's teacher Mizuki. Seeing Mizuki arriving, Tiantian's dad instantly recognized him and immediately said with a smile, "Are you here to buy ninja tools?" "Sorry, The ninjas are out of stock today and they won't be in stock until tomorrow or the day after. That's it. Hearing this, Shuimu understood. Then he looked at the jars and asked curiously, why did you suddenly buy so many jars? What does this have to do with ninja tools? The jars should not appear in the ninja tool store. This is our next marketing method. It will be announced tomorrow. Please forgive me. Tiantian's father smiled and said, you will know when you come again tomorrow. After Tiantian's words last night, they decided to immediately implement the plan of putting some ninja tools into jars and promote them to earn the first pot of gold. Unfortunately, there are not so many ninja tools, so we have to prepare them today. Okay. Hearing this, Shuimu nodded, but sighed in his heart. Tomorrow he will leave the village. Thinking of this, Shuimu said goodbye and turned to leave. Dad, Mom. Just as Shuimu left, a cheerful voice sounded, and Tiantian was seen jumping back. My baby girl, you are finally back. Looking at Tiantian who came back, Tiantian's father and mother quickly signaled Tiantian to enter the store first. Tiantian was a little confused, but still curious to enter the store. Something happened. After entering the store, Tiantian's mother stood outside the store and looked around, while Tiantian's father pulled Tiantian to sit down and whispered, from now on, you have to forget what happened yesterday. Ah. Tiantian was a little confused when she heard what Tiantian's father said, forget. Why didn't she understand a little bit? That's it. Tiantian's father simply said that many root ninjas were carried out today, and they were weak all over. After Tiantian heard it, his face was extremely wonderful. No wonder I came back and saw many ninjas gathered in one place. Tiantian laughed softly. They deserve it. Let those robbers take away their own ninja tools, and they suffered. So just pretend you don't know about this. Tiantian's father said softly, if it is found out, the consequences will be disastrous. Yeah. Tiantian nodded after hearing what his father said. Then he thought of something and hurriedly said, Dad, Mom, have you opened the jars? No, I've been busy. Why don't we open the jars now? I told Mr. Lin Mo yesterday that I would take you to open the jars. I can't break my promise. And opening the jars has only advantages and no disadvantages. If you open something good, you will make a lot of money. It's just right. We can also ask Mr. Lin Mo about the 10 fragrance softening powder and see who else knows. Tiantian hurriedly spoke, and Tiantian's father nodded and said, well, I think so too. I won't wait for you to come back and let you take us to open the jars. With you taking us, we can communicate better with Mr. Lin Mo. I'll ask your mother to pack up and we'll go to the jar shop to meet Mr. Lin Mo. With that, Tiantian's father walked out. After putting away some of the ceramic jars they had purchased, the two closed the door and took Tiantian to Lin Mo's jar shop. It was late at night, and many people were walking on the street with their children. Tiantian's family's trip did not attract anyone's attention. When they went to the jar shop. In the jar shop, Lin Mo was sitting cross-legged, refining chakra. After a day, this efficiency is still not very good. Lin Mo frowned as he opened his eyes. Compared with the chakra obtained directly, this kind of chakra cultivation is really slow. He was a little dissatisfied with this efficiency. If someone else has a chakra refining method, can I add it after I get it? Increase the speed of chakra refining. Currently, Hinata, Hanabi, Hyuga Hiyashi, Tiantian, and Naruto have opened the jars, with only more than 40 jars, and there are still more than 50 jars away from the exclusive jars. If you want to become stronger quickly, you still have to ask someone to open the jar. The atmosphere in Konoha village is tense. If your strength is not significantly improved before being discovered by Danzo, it will be troublesome to go out. Thinking of the possible situation that might be encountered next, Lin Mo rubbed his eyebrows with a headache. In Konoha village, if you don't have the strength to suppress everything, everything is in vain. Huh. Lin Mo, who was having a headache, suddenly saw Tiantian coming with a middle-aged man and woman in the range of the True Vision Guard, and his eyes suddenly lit up. Is this Tiantian bringing her parents to open the cans? Mr. Lin Mo. After a while, Tiantian took the lead in walking into the can shop and said with a smile, "I brought my parents to open the cans." While Tiantian was talking, Tiantian's parents also saw Lin Mo. When they saw Lin Mo's appearance, they were slightly surprised. So young, it seems that he is not much older than Tiantian. Selling such incredible cans. Who is this young man? Thinking so, the two looked at the cans on Lin Mo's counter. "It's our first meeting, please give me your advice." Tiantian's father took a look and retracted his gaze, but smiled and stretched out his hand to Lin Mo and said, "Tiantian didn't cause you trouble before." Chapter 57 The Powerful Shrinking Lamp. Tiantian is confused, what is physics? Hearing this, Tiantian, who was laughing beside him, stamped his feet in shame and anger. "What do you mean by causing trouble to Lin Mo?" When Lin Mo heard this, he laughed dumbly and shook his head and said, "If you come to open the jar, just pay the money and choose it. I won't say any more nonsense. I just need to collect the money and wait for Tiantian's dad to choose the jar." By the way, Tiantian thought of what he said before coming here, and hurriedly asked in a low voice, "Lin Mo, can you tell me, before me, has anyone else opened the 10 fragrance softening powder? Something happened in Konoha village today." Speaking of this, Tiantian talked about what happened in the route today, and Lin Mo's face did not change. As he guessed, there was nothing strange. "I also know what you are talking about, and I have guessed it." Lin Mo nodded and said, "Only you can prescribe this thing. No one else in the ninja world can prescribe it, and there is no need to worry about it." Speaking of this, Lin Mo shook his head again and continued, "Konoha's medical department will definitely study this kind of thing. As long as you don't say it, no one will know. It is impossible for him to go to Konoha and tell it." So in Lin Mo's opinion, Tiantian's family has nothing to worry about. When Tiantian's father and mother heard this, they were relieved. That would be great. Then, Tiantian's father and mother each took out the prepared money and handed it to Lin Mo. After seeing Lin Mo take it, he looked at the jars. The jars are all exactly the same, and it is impossible to tell which one is special, so if you want to choose, you can only choose them all at once. By the way, Mr. Lin Mo. Suddenly, Tiantian's father thought of something and said quickly, "We also bought some jars today, and we are preparing to sell the ninja tools in the next ninja tool shop. We will refer to your sales method and put the ninja tools in for sale." I heard Tiantian talk about this. Lin Mo nodded and said, "This is your way. Even if you don't copy it, others will copy it. Don't worry that I will blame you." "Why didn't Tiantian tell you?" "I did." Tiantian's father said a little embarrassedly, "But I think it's better for me to talk to you in person about this kind of thing." Lin Mo nodded and said nothing more. And Tiantian's father quickly picked out 10 jars. Tiantian's mother didn't choose, but waited for Tiantian's father to finish opening before choosing. Anyway, the money has been paid, so there is no rush. Watching the 10 jars flying steadily in front of him, Tiantian's father took a deep breath and decisively smashed the first one. Bang! The first jar broke and a stone fell down. The surface of the stone presents a color of dark blue and black-brown, like a treasure sleeping deep underground. A faint glow emanates from the surface of the stone, as if it contains some ancient and mysterious power. The light is not dazzling, but as gentle as the starlight at night, making people feel a sense of tranquility and serenity. What a beautiful stone! Seeing this stone, Tiantian's eyes lit up slightly. Is it a kind of fluorite? This gem can be sold for more than 100,000 taels. And next to him, Tiantian's father looked at the stone that was opened, and he made a judgment in his heart, and suddenly became surprised. This means that he did not lose money at all when he opened this jar. If sold to a merchant, this is definitely a rare gem. Nightmare stone, a rare and special ore from a certain continent, it will glow faintly in the quiet dark night. It is said to be a rare gem formed by the elements flowing between heaven and earth in the mutation. Lin Mo looked at this thing, raised his eyebrows, and chuckled. This is the night stone, which contains the power of elements. It can be used to make weapons, as decoration, and also as fluorite. Lin Mo briefly talked about the night stone, and Tiantian rubbed his hands slightly excitedly. It's a very good name. I liked it instantly. And Tiantian's father smiled and said, it seems that I have good luck. The stone that glows at night is very valuable. Immediately, Tiantian's father put away the stone and continued to knock open the second jar. Bang! The second jar broke, and a detonating talisman fell down. Detonating talisman, waterproof. Lin Mo took a look and spoke simply without saying much. This thing doesn't need to be introduced by himself. My luck is a bit bad. Tiantian's father put away the detonating talisman, feeling sorry. This jar is a loss. After sorting out his mood, looking at the remaining 8 jars, Tiantian's father decisively continued to smash 2. With 2 bangs, 2 things fell down, a black kunai and a white ball of light. It's an experience ball of light. Looking at the white ball of light, Tiantian's eyes lit up slightly. Dad, you're lucky. Experience ball of light. Hearing Tiantian's words, Tiantian's father's eyes also lit up slightly, and looked at Lin Mo. Shopkeeper, what kind of experience is this? I have heard Tiantian talk about some experience balls of light. I just hope that this white experience ball of light will be helpful to me. Fragile kunai, a low-quality kunai is on the verge of breaking. If you use a little force, it can be easily broken. Don't pin your hopes on this kunai. 1000 push-ups training experience. The training experience from a certain trainer can be integrated after touching, and you can instantly get 1000 push-ups training experience, achieving the effect of slightly enhancing your physical fitness. At this time, Lin Mo, who was looking at the introduction of these 2 things, also spoke immediately. He told Tiantian dad about the experience light ball and kunai. Training experience. After listening to Lin Mo's words, Tiantian dad's eyes lit up. That's good. He also likes to exercise, and his physical skills are quite good. Immediately, Tiantian dad immediately reached out to integrate. Suddenly, the white light ball poured into his body, making him feel that his arms suddenly became stronger. I really got the training effect out of thin air. Feeling the changes in his own muscles, Tiantian dad's breathing became rapid. You know, there is no shortcut to exercise. How many ninjas have shed countless sweat to exercise in order to enhance their physical fitness? Now he has easily spent money and got exercise out of thin air. This effect is unbelievable when it is set out. Only by experiencing the fusion process of the light ball in person can you feel the magic. Next to him, Tiantian's mother's eyes lit up. If there were no outsiders here, she would have touched it. Lin Mo looked at this scene and shook his head gently. These things are not what he wants. When Lin Mo thought so, Tiantian's father was already excited to continue knocking the jars. With 2 bangs, 2 more jars broke, and 2 things fell down. A black shuriken and a palm-sized flashlight. Light. Tiantian's father recognized it instantly when he saw this thing. Oh. Hearing this, Lin Mo was surprised. Is there such a thing as a flashlight in the world of Naruto? He didn't remember it. The technology in this world is not developed. The lighting method of ninjas is generally torches or ninjutsu such as fire escape. But the next second, Lin Mo looked at this thing, pinched his chin, and sighed in his heart, what a good thing. Hard shuriken made of fine materials is very durable, and its strength is beyond your imagination. Disposable shrinking light, a magical prop from an unknown world. It can be used to reduce the size and weight of people and objects by shining its light. It will return to its original state after shining it again. It is a very practical prop, but it has a time limit. If it is not continuously irradiated, it will return to its original state after a while. This thing is pretty good. The only pity is that it is disposable and cannot be recycled. At this time, Tiantian dad has already picked up the shrinking light. Before he turned it on, Lin Mo shook his head and said, this is not an ordinary light bulb, don't use it first. Not an ordinary light bulb. Hearing Lin Mo's words, Tiantian dad was stunned, and immediately stopped his actions, looking at Lin Mo in surprise. This thing, is there anything unusual? This is a shrinking light. Looking at the surprised Tiantian dad, Lin Mo spoke directly and talked about the function of this thing. which made Tiantian Dad suddenly widen his eyes. Make the target of irradiation shrink. This effect is too exaggerated. While being surprised, Tiantian's father was also glad that he didn't use it, otherwise he would have wasted an opportunity to use it. This thing can work wonders when used at a certain time. It sounds good. Tiantian looked at the shrinking light in her father's hand with excitement. This thing can actually make the target smaller. Lin Mo, can this be used even for a Jonin? The next second, Tiantian thought of something, and his breathing became rapid. He looked at Lin Mo. Does it work for powerful ninjas? If it works, it would be incredible. With this thing, a powerful ninja can be directly shrunk. Just thinking about it is incredible. And how small can it be shrunk? Tiantian is very curious. If possible, she really wants to try it. Unfortunately, this is what her father prescribed. And it is a disposable item. It will be gone after use, and it must not be wasted at will. Of course. Hearing Tiantian's words, Lin Mo nodded and said, whether it is for people or objects, the shrunk people or objects will not only shrink in size, but also their strength and mass will shrink accordingly. In other words, the strength of the shrunk people will become relatively weak. After all, this is because based on physics, strength is usually proportional to volume and mass. When the volume shrinks, the mass also decreases, which means that the strength of the muscles and other physical properties will shrink accordingly. Therefore, when facing the external environment, the shrunk people will have negligible strength and can usually only move small objects, or face greater dangers after shrinking. For example, if a person is shrunk to the size of a toy, something that was originally easy to move may become very heavy. Correspondingly, when interacting with normal-sized people or objects, the shrunk strength will appear weak and the action will be more difficult. Lin Mo talked freely, and Tiantian looked confused. Physics. Chapter 58 Momotaro rice balls that are useful for the tailed beasts. Empty pokey balls. But she already understood. That's why this shrinking lamp can really affect the strong. If this is used in a battle, it can completely determine the outcome. Not only powerful ninjas, but also effective against tailed beasts. Lin Mo smiled faintly and said, think about the night when the nine-tailed demon fox was in trouble. If this shrinking lamp had been available at that time, the demon fox would have become the size of a palm, and its power would also have become smaller. Hiss. After hearing Lin Mo's words, Tiantian's parents suddenly took a breath of cold air. As old residents of Konoha village, they naturally knew that the situation at that time was terrifying. That time the nine-tailed demon fox caused Konoha heavy losses. Whether it was ninjas, civilians, or buildings, large areas were affected. They are naturally aware of how terrifying the demon fox is. But now, this thing can even affect that kind of demon fox, which is really incredible. Dad Tiantian carefully looked at the shrinking lamp in his hand and immediately put it carefully into his pocket. After doing all this, Dad Tiantian looked at the remaining 4 jars with excitement. Without any hesitation, he directly chose to knock them all open. Bang 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 bang. 4 jars were broken one after another, and 4 things fell down immediately. There were some he didn't know, and some he knew. Chakra of an ordinary Chunin. The chakra comes from the painstaking training of an ordinary Chunin. After fusion, it can instantly superimpose one's own chakra, increasing the chakra of an ordinary Chunin level. Vacant Pokeball comes from a magical elf world. It is a prop created specifically to capture elves. It cannot capture elves that have owners. It can only capture elves and cannot be used on people. Sea-level ninjutsu scroll records the sea-level wind release and gale palm training method, which involves metamorphizing chakra to produce wind, and using clapping as an opportunity to compress the wind and evolve it into a violent gale. Juhua Yulu pills, a famous elixir from a certain world. It is made from rare medicinal materials and the dew on 9 kinds of flower petals in the morning. It is vermilion red on the outside and has a fragrant fragrance. It can replenish the spirit, strengthen the body, and prolong life. Looking at these 4 things, Lin Mo narrowed his eyes. Dad Tiantian's luck was good this day, and the ninjutsu scroll was also released. In addition to the ninjutsu scrolls, there is only a Chunin level chakra. The remaining two things are of little use to me. This is a ninjutsu scroll. Tenten's father, on the other hand, was already attracted by the ninjutsu scroll and his breathing became rapid. For civilian ninjas like them, ninjutsu scrolls are very valuable. Yes, it records the sea-level wind release and gale palm ninjutsu. Lin Mo nodded and said, besides, this blue light group is Chunin level chakra. After touching it, you can save the training steps and obtain Chunin level chakra. You can fuse this first. Chunin level chakra. After hearing Lin Mo's words, Tiantian's father breathed rapidly and immediately stretched out his hand to touch the blue light group. Before coming here, he had heard from Tiantian that the shop owner had chakra that could be obtained without practicing. I didn't expect that I would be so lucky to be able to open it. And he's still at Chunin level. You know, even if he runs a ninja tool shop, he is still just a genin so far. It can even be said that they are ordinary people who do not have ninja qualifications, otherwise they would not be able to open a store. Buzz. In an instant, this blue Chunin chakra light ball instantly merged into his body, allowing Tenten's father to feel the weak chakra in his body, which instantly surged. That feeling of fullness made Tiantian's father's face turn red. Incredible. Tenten's father is so excited that he can't help himself. He has become a Chunin so easily now. Even though he knew that Chunin's judgment was not purely based on chakra, the amount of chakra in his body was no longer as insignificant as before. Congratulations, Dad. Tiantian congratulated his father with a smile on his face. Chunin level chakra, Daddy makes a lot of money. It would be great if this kind of jar could be opened all the time. Tiantian's father looked at the jars behind Lin Mo with fiery eyes. Since it is possible to produce chakra at the Chunin level, it must be possible to produce chakra at the Junin level. It's just the amount of Chunin chakra. Without mastering the changes in the nature of chakra, there will be disadvantages in using ninjutsu. Lin Mo spoke softly and slowly. Of course, this chakra property change can also be prescribed in a jar. As long as it is fused, it can be mastered instantly. There is no need to research and develop it by yourself. Yeah, I understand. After hearing Lin Mo's words, Tiantian's father nodded. Then he looked at the remaining two things and asked curiously, Shopkeeper, what are the other two things? A red and white ball, and an ugly-looking gadget about the same size as a Bing Liang pill. This is Juhua Yulu pill, which can make people strong and healthy, even extend their life, and replenish the vitality in your body. Lin Mo glanced at Juhua Yuluan and said, Tiantian's father's eyes lit up after hearing this. Prolong life. Sounds great. Lin Mo continued to look at the elf ball and said, as for this elf ball, it is specially used to store elves. You can understand elves as psychic beasts, but this psychic beast does not require you to use ninjutsu to summon it. They don't use chakra, they can be with you at any time. Quote. If you don't want them to accompany you, you can also put them in this elf ball. This elf ball is like a small portable space house for them. Oh. After hearing Lin Mo's words, Tiantian's father looked stunned. So that's it. Where are the elves? Tiantian asked curiously. You are not a psychic beast, but can you understand that you can become a psychic beast? You can find spirits by opening a jar. There are no such creatures in the ninja world. Lin Mo chuckled and said, but if you open the can more often, you may get elf eggs or elves. These elves are also very powerful and have many functions. They are assistants to humans. That's it. After hearing Lin Mo's words, Tiantian immediately yearned for the elves in his heart. She suddenly wanted an elf. As for things like psychic beasts, you need to find them yourself, or get them through inheritance. The psychic beast she always wanted was Tsunade-sama's slug. Although the teacher was willing to give her the red-black turtle to sign a contract with, she really didn't like the turtle. Too ugly. How can any girl carry a psychic beast like a turtle with her? Is the elf good-looking? The next second, Tiantian asked curiously again, does it look like anything? There are good-looking ones and ugly ones, but most of them are pretty cute. Lin Mo chuckled and said, The main thing is that you can't evolve psychic beasts, but elves can evolve. Each evolution will change their appearance. As for the appearance, there are too many, and I can't finish them in a short while. As Lin Mo spoke, Tiantian became more and more looking forward to the elves. If possible, she really wanted to see what elves looked like. When Tiantian's father heard this, he smiled heartily and said, "It seems that I am lucky. I can keep this thing. If I come to Mr. Lin Mo in the future, I will open the jar and find the elves. It will be useful." Quote, "No matter what, this thing sounds like a space-type crop, so it's worth the money. It is unusual for anything to be related to time and space. Even if this thing is of no use now, it will definitely be used in the future. Okay, it's my turn." Next to her, Tiantian's mother couldn't wait any longer. "I couldn't wait to pull open Tiantian Dad and picked out the jar." Seeing his mother starting to select jars, Tiantian looked over at the first time with a somewhat expectant look. "I don't know what my mother will prescribe. If something good is prescribed and you don't need it, you can definitely use it yourself. Rounding things off, I can open 30 cans a week. Just thinking about it makes me excited." When Tiantian was thinking this, Tiantian's mother quickly picked out 10 jars. Then he opened the first jar very simply. Bang! The first jar shattered and an animal-shaped cookie fell out. Biscuit. Looking at this thing, Tiantian's mother raised her eyebrows. 100,000 taels for just one biscuit is too much of a loss. And this cookie is too small. You know, biscuits are not expensive. Is my luck so bad? Compared to Tiantian's mother, who thought she had bad luck, Lin Mo chuckled and said, "You're lucky." While talking, Lin Mo looked at the introduction of this animal cookie. Animal biscuits. After eating biscuits, you can turn into animals that look like biscuits and last for 1 day. This time the animal crackers were actually 1 day old. The animal crackers that Hinata Hazu opened before were only available for 5 minutes. Why did Mr. Lin Mo say that? Hearing Lin Mo's words, Tiantian's mother looked stunned and said hesitantly, "Is there anything else I can say about this biscuit? Otherwise, how could Lin Mo say that she was lucky?" Lin Mo nodded. "This is an animal biscuit. The biscuit is in the shape of an animal. After eating it, you can transform into this animal. It takes 24 hours a day to transform it. It's quite convenient to use for disguise or something. It's not like no one has made this thing before, but the time he made it was very short, only 5 minutes, while the animal crackers you made lasted a full day. That's why I say you have good luck. Can you turn into an animal if you eat it?" After hearing Lin Mo's words, Tiantian looked at the biscuits his mother made out with a surprised look on his face. "This biscuit is shaped like a kitten, so if you eat it, you can turn into a kitten. Interesting. Becoming a kitten." And Tiantian's mother looked at the cookie in front of her with a weird look on her face. "What's so good about becoming such a creature? This thing is of no use to me." Thinking like this, Tiantian's mother shook her head and put away the animal cookies. Since Tiantian is interested, Tiantian will be better soon. With this in mind, Tiantian's mother continued to open the second jar. Bang! The second jar shattered, and this time what fell was a bag containing rice balls. "Eat again." Looking at this thing, Tiantian's mother looked weird. It's not biscuits but rice balls, which is too ordinary. But thinking of the magic of animal cookies, Tiantian's mother looked at Lin Mo and asked curiously, "Mr. Lin Mo, is this rice ball ordinary or extraordinary?" How did she feel that the food that came out of the cans in Lin Mo's place was abnormal? Not ordinary. Lin Mo looked strange when he saw this thing that Tiantian's mother drove out. Momotaro rice ball. The Momotaro rice ball comes from an unknown world, also known as the Momotaro taming ball. Once the rice ball is thrown, if it is eaten by a ferocious animal, excluding humans, it will completely obey the person who threw the rice ball. A simple introduction, but the effect is not simple. Lin Mo looked at the introduction of this thing and suspected that it was also effective on tailed beasts. If this thing could be used to control a tailed beast, it would be a real profit. A completely obedient tailed beast, tut. With this in mind, before Tiantian's mother could ask, Linmo chuckled and said, "This is Momotaro rice ball. It can be used to tame wild beasts and is also attractive to wild beasts. As soon as the rice ball is thrown, the beast will naturally open its mouth to eat, and it will be completely tamed and completely obedient to the person who threw the rice ball. After repeated training several times, the animal will still listen to you even if it no longer eats the rice ball." It sounds amazing. Hearing this, Tiantian's mother looked surprised. Rice balls for taming animals. This is a secret that is not passed down even among some ninja families. But it seemed to be using chakra, and she didn't know the details. But after listening to Lin Mo's words, she felt that this thing was good and could easily tame beasts. Then in the future, when traveling far away and encountering wild beasts or something, you can throw this thing out and use it to tame some ferocious beasts. Thinking of this, Tiantian's mother smiled. This thing is good. Beast animal. Next to him, Tiantian's father hesitated for a moment and said, "To a certain extent, humans are also considered animals." Although this statement is not recognized by others, since this rice ball can be eaten by ferocious beasts, does the element of obedience also have something to do with people? Lin Mo. This thing has no effect on people. Lin Mo shook his head slightly and said, "Although humans are animals, they will not become obedient after eating it. It has no effect on humans at all. Therefore, when you are hungry, this can also be used to satisfy your hunger. Of course, if you are lucky enough, you will be able to make effective Momotaro rice balls for people to eat next time, but the effect usually does not last long. If I remember correctly, there are some Momotaro rice balls that are effective on some people. People can eat it too." After hearing Lin Mo's words, Tiantian's father suddenly realized. Although it has no effect, there is still no problem in using it to satisfy hunger. Will this thing break? Next to him, Tiantian looked at the rice ball with suspicion and asked curiously, "Rice balls have a shelf life. Does this thing have a shelf life?" Chapter 59. Can things from the Mist Shadow Village be opened? Sarutobi Hiruzen is so courageous. Uzu. This rice ball sounds extraordinary, so it shouldn't expire. Well, this is a question. After hearing Tiantian's words, Lin Mo looked at the Momotaro rice ball with a strange expression, and found that there was indeed no word about expiration in the description. No. The next second, Lin Mo shook his head gently and said, "This is not an ordinary rice ball, so there is no expiration." Although it was not in the description, Lin Mo knew it. This kind of props that do not have an expiration date are usually not described as having a shelf life. Since there is no time, it will not be emphasized that this kind of prop will become invalid due to time. This can be seen from the animal biscuits just now. The animal biscuits opened by Hinata Hiyashi before only lasted for 5 minutes, while the animal biscuits opened by Tiantian's mother lasted for a full day. Oh. After getting Lin Mo's affirmative answer, Tiantian looked enlightened. At this time, Tiantian's mother had already hung the Momotaro rice ball on her waist and continued to knock open the third and fourth jars. Bang bang, 2 times. The 2 jars broke, and a white experience light ball and a blue light ball fell down. "Sure, Mom." Seeing this, Tiantian was surprised. "They are all light ball type things, I'm lucky." The blue light ball and the white experience light ball are both good things. Tiantian's mother was also surprised when she saw this. 1,000 kilometers of running experience comes from the long-term running training experience of a long-distance runner. After fusion, you can instantly get 1,000 kilometers of running training and enhance your physical fitness. Chakra of ordinary genin comes from the chakra that an ordinary genin has cultivated hard. After fusion, you can instantly superimpose your own chakra and increase the chakra of ordinary genin level. At this time, Lin Mo, who was looking at these 2 things, sighed in his heart. 2 garbage. Not even elite genin. This is a running experience, accumulated 1,000 kilometers. Immediately, Lin Mo introduced to Tiantian's mother, "As for the other blue light ball, it is the chakra amount of genin level." It sounds good. Hearing Lin Mo's words, Tiantian's mother's eyes lit up. She immediately reached out her hand and touched the 2 balls of light. In an instant, The two balls of light flowed into her body, making her feel that her chakra increased while she also felt that the muscles of her legs were slightly bulging. At the same time, her body also received feedback and felt that her legs became stronger. It's really comfortable. After the fusion, Tiantian's mother smiled. This feeling of becoming stronger out of thin air is really different. Without any hesitation, Tiantian's mother looked at the remaining 6 jars and decisively smashed 3 of them. Bang bang bang. 3 more jars broke and 3 things fell down. A palm-sized knife. A white ball of light. And a test tube filled with liquid. It seems that I have good luck. Looking at the white ball of light among the 3 things, Tiantian's mother smiled. Another experience ball of light, this jar is worth opening. Having fused the experience ball of light, she fully knows the value of this kind of thing. Omitting the steps of training and directly obtaining training out of thin air through money is something that money cannot buy. As long as it is an experience light group, you will make a lot of money. A broken sword from an unknown underground world. It is no longer sharp, and only the broken blade that can split your fantasy is left. A chef's cooking experience, it comes from the cooking experience of a master chef throughout his life. After absorbing and integrating, you can instantly become a chef who can cook. Ordinary catalyst, a catalyst made of various basic materials from a certain underground world, which can be used to forge weapons. At this time, Lin Mo took a look at what Tiantian's mother opened and found that there was nothing special. Instead, the catalyst made him take a second look. But it was just a glance. If I remember correctly, this thing is divided into several levels: middle, upper, special, and lowest. This ordinary catalyst is just a lower level. But it is not bad to be used specifically for forging weapons. Thinking of this, Lin Mo said, a sword that is about to break, one is the chef's cooking experience and the other is a catalyst. I won't say much about the past 2 days. Let me talk about the catalyst at the back. This thing is a strengthening material. It is effective in forging weapons. You can try adding this thing when forging ninja tools. Something that is effective for forging weapons. Hearing Lin Mo's words, Tiantian's mother was surprised and immediately reached out to pick up the third catalyst. This thing looks like some kind of potion, but it turns out to be a catalyst. Interesting. Then, Tiantian's mother looked at the cooking experience, without any hesitation, and decisively reached out to touch it. In an instant, the cooking experience flooded into her mind, making her eyes brighter. It can actually cook like that. This cooking experience completely broke her cognition and made her learn a lot in an instant. The experience light ball is really amazing. For a moment, Tiantian's mother sighed. Even if I can cook, after integrating this experience light ball, I feel that my cooking skills are just like a novice. That's right. Hearing his mother's words, Tiantian nodded in agreement. I have also opened this experience light group before, and I can deeply understand my mother's reaction. Nowadays, I also have a lot of experience in cooking. And Tiantian's father also nodded gently, agreeing with this. Only those who have integrated the experience light group know the value and significance of this thing. This can completely change someone's life. It allows people to master a certain method instantly and get the effect of exercising out of thin air, without consuming materials or anything. Because only when a chef is proficient in cooking can he be sure that the food will be delicious. Just like refining chakra, practicing taijutsu, and practicing ninjutsu, you must work hard to train. Even if you are a genius or a gifted person, you cannot succeed just by practicing a few times. Ninjutsu needs to be developed, and the amount of chakra needs to be refined. But now, all this can be obtained out of thin air from the shop owner. The cost is nothing more than money. 100,000 taels is not small money. But compared to the harvest, it's just blood money. When I get back, I'll show you my skills. At this time, Tiantian's mother smiled and touched Tiantian's head. Your mother's and my craftsmanship will definitely exceed your imagination. Just cook according to your own fusion of chef experience, and you will definitely be surprised every day. Then I'm looking forward to it. After hearing what my mother said, Tiantian's eyes lit up slightly, and she rubbed her hands excitedly, looking forward to it. Even though I know how to do it myself, I still want to show my hands to my mother. It's fine now, just let mom show it. Tiantian's mother looked at the remaining 3 jars and decisively chose to open them all. Bang bang bang. 3 jars shattered and 3 more objects fell. A white hand bone the size of a palm. A stone that exudes gleaming light. There is also a ninja forehead protector. Looking at these 3 things, Tiantian's mother looked at the ninja forehead protector with a strange expression. She had already recognized the symbol on the ninja's forehead protector. It was the symbol of Kurigakure village. Can this thing be opened from a can? Not only Tiantian's mother was confused, but Tiantian also looked at the ninja forehead protector in surprise. You know, ninja forehead protector represents a kind of identity authentication, which is a very important thing. Ninjas generally regard this as extremely important. Why does this kind of thing appear in the jar? Tiantian looked at Lin Mo a little confused. She could understand those magical things and was used to them. But this ninja forehead protector suddenly made her feel an unfamiliar feeling. Goblin hand bone. The hand bone comes from a certain goblin. The bones leave a strange goblin smell. They can be used as materials for forging, making potions, and even making soup. Terra stone, a unique magical ore from the Terra star. It has strong energy, but is not easy to control. You need to be careful during the forging process. Kurikage Ninja Forehead Protector. The forehead protector from a Kurigakure village ninja can represent the identity of the Kurigakure ninja, or it can also be used as a trophy. At this time, Lin Mo looked at these 3 things with an increasingly weird expression. He was not surprised that the Terra stone and the goblin hand bone were revealed. What's strange to him is that the forehead protector in Kurikage village can actually be used. Which Kurikage ninja does this thing belong to? Will the other party lose this forehead protector? Still, shaking his head, Lin Mo stopped thinking about this. Without waiting for Tiantian's mother to ask, she introduced, I won't say much more about this ninja forehead protector. The other one is a monster's hand bone. Although it can be used as a forging or crafting material, it has a strange smell. Residue. Quote. The stone is Terra stone, which contains very strong energy. It is generally used for forging. However, because the energy is very strong, you need to be careful when forging. If you are not careful, it will definitely cause a lot of movement and even injury. But if you forge a weapon, it will definitely have a powerful effect. As Lin Mo started to introduce, Tiantian's mother immediately looked at Terra stone. In other words, among these 3 things, the most valuable is this piece of ore. As for the strange smell of hand bones that Lin Mo mentioned, she had already smelled it, and it was really unpleasant. Then can I use this piece of ore to buy Tiantian's gun? Tiantian's mother suddenly thought of something and asked Lin Mo quickly, Tiantian opened that magical gun on your side. If I use this kind of thing to make a gun, can I also make that thing powerful? The effect. Or, making something like bullets. But he knew that the sniper rifle in Tiantian's hand would be gone after the bullets were fired. If you want bullets, you can only get them by opening cans. It can also be forged through research. If this Terra stone was used to create a similar firearm, it would definitely have an unusual effect. After all, Lin Mo also said that this stone contains powerful energy. Sure. Lin Mo looked strange when he heard what Tiantian's mother said, but he still nodded. Tiantian's mother's mind is spinning very fast. But Terra stone makes bullets and gun bodies. Can this be built? It is most suitable for making weapons. Lin Mo was thinking this in his mind as he continued, but I also said that the energy in this Terra stone is very powerful and it is not easy to make. You can study it slowly and don't study it randomly and get injured. That's fine. Not good. Once this thing explodes, the consequences will be disastrous. Yeah, I know. Hearing Lin Mo's words, Tiantian's mother nodded. She still knows a lot about forging. This will naturally be noticed. At this point, 10 jars have been opened, which makes Tiantian's mother feel satisfied. Come open the jar today, it's really worth it. Mr. Lin Mo, we have opened 10 cans and it's time to go back. The next second, Dad Tiantian smiled and said, Let's go back and prepare for the jar. Can. Lin Mo nodded after hearing what Tiantian's father said. Tiantian's family left, and he could just improve his strength. Although the improvement is not big, no matter how small the mosquito legs are, they are still meat. I'm not busy at home. Why don't you stay at Mr. Lin Mo's place every day? Tiantian's mother looked at Tiantian and said with a chuckle, it's impossible for me to cook immediately after I go back. The things in the store are not finished yet. No problem. Hearing what his mother said, Tiantian nodded happily. I just happened to be thinking about chatting with Lin Mo. Immediately, Tiantian's parents left, leaving Tiantian alone. Hey. Seeing that there was no one in the shop, Tiantian looked at Lin Mo and rubbed his hands excitedly. Lin Mo, can you tell me about elves? I am very interested in this, such as it and psychic beasts. What's the difference? Ever since she learned about elves, she was really curious about them. Elf. It's not impossible. Hearing Tiantian's words, Lin Mo raised his eyebrows and said, there's no one in the store, so it's okay to talk to you. Anyway, it's nothing, there's no need to hide the elf thing, it's just something I casually said. Good. After hearing Lin Mo's words, Tiantian rubbed his hands excitedly. Then he listened patiently. Just like the psychic beasts in the ninja world, they live in the world of psychic beasts. When necessary, they can accept the call of the contractor, and they will only help if the contractor meets their own conditions, but the elves will not. Lin Mo slowly said, elves are purer creatures than psychic beasts. As long as they recognize their master, they can use their own lives to protect their master and provide their master with the help they can. Lin Mo talked eloquently about elves, which made his breathing quicken every day. This elf sounds like a helper to humans. Instead of signing a cooperation contract with psychic beasts like the current ninja world. Time passes little by little. Lin Mo briefly talked about the situation of the elves, and then drew a few pictures of the elves, including Pikachu and green caterpillars. Although it has not been colored, I am already attracted by the painted elves. Although he hasn't seen a real elf, Tiantian has decided that he will never contract a psychic beast before he gets an elf. Even if it's a contract, it still needs to be a contract with Tsunade's psychic beast. Although she knows that she currently does not have that qualification. But it doesn't matter, as long as you open the jar here in Lin Mo, you will have a chance to open it. Thinking of this, Tiantian's eyebrows curved into crescent moons. Okay, it's getting late, it's time to eat. Lin Mo looked at the dark sky outside, shook his head and said with a smile, your mother has just opened a chef's experience light group. You can taste it as soon as you go back. Why don't you go back? How about Mr. Lin Mo go back with me? Hearing Lin Mo's words, Tiantian's eyes brightened slightly, and he quickly said, my mother's cooking is always delicious. No, next time. Lin Mo shook his head gently. He let Tiantian leave mainly because he wanted to integrate what he had gained. Then what does Mr. Lin Mo eat? Tenten thought. Is it still Ichiraku ramen? Yeah. Lin Mo nodded. Then I'll do it too. Tiantian chuckled. Mom is at home anyway, so I can eat it anytime. You may not be free every day to eat ramen with Lin Mo, but if you want to eat my mother's cooking, you are free every day. Okay. Lin Mo nodded, immediately closed the door and walked out. Just when he and Tiantian had just walked out of the jar shop, they hadn't walked long. I found that there were actually many people surrounding me on the street. Whether it was a shop or at the door of the house where they lived, there were people discussing it in twos and threes, all of them looking anxious, worried, and even angry. Is it true or false? The sealed book was really stolen. Isn't it kept by Hokage-sama? Really? My husband immediately gathered together and ran to seal off the Leaf Village. No entry or exit is allowed in the Leaf Village. I don't know who is so bold as to steal the sealed book. It's not just us. Hokage-sama also summoned the ninjas at Hokage Rock. We must find the thief who stole the sealed book as soon as possible. He said that the thief definitely did not run far away. Many ninjas even left the village. There was a manhunt around. The sealed book is a treasure in a village. It records many ninjutsu. It is said that only ninjas who have made great achievements can obtain ninjutsu from it. This sealed book is usually placed in the room close to the Hokage. How can it be stolen from someone's safekeeping? It should be theft. Don't forget that many Anbu ninjas were carried out and poisoned during the day today. Have you forgotten the search? One after another, Lin Mo's face was very strange. It has only been a short time, and the Book of Seals was thrown out by the third Hokage. The normal plot is not like this. Could it be? Suddenly, Lin Mo looked down at Tiantian beside him. If nothing unexpected happens, Sarutobi Hiruzen should have seized the situation that Danzo's root was knocked down by Toka's soft muscle powder, and quickly arranged everything. It just happened to overlap. Otherwise, if there is a commotion like this later, it will be a bit troublesome. Sarutobi Hiruzen is really courageous. It can be said that Tiantian pushed Sarutobi Hiruzen's actions. The Book of Seals was stolen. Tiantian beside Lin Mo widened his eyes and looked like he saw a ghost. He had heard about this treasure of the ninja village from his teacher, so how could it be stolen? Ah, damn it. At this moment, on the other side, in a dense forest, Uzumaki Naruto looked at the sealed book spread out in front of him and felt a toothache. Chapter 60 Naruto. What a cunning third Hokage. The incomplete 8 gates. Sarutobi Hiruzen and Hasho 39s. Why is there something like a ghost painting at the back, without even a name for the ninjutsu? At least, the first densely written words that caught my eye were the words, multiple shadow clone technique. Below are diagrams of various meridians of the human body, as well as cultivation notes, etc. It is so detailed that anyone who sees it can immediately know where to start. The second one is a technique called 8-Gate Dunjia, which also has half of the content. But after that, there are no words at all. Except for the runes that look like ghostly drawings, there are no diagrams of the meridians of the human body, no cultivation gaze, and no words at all. When Uzumaki Naruto saw this, he still didn't know that the content on this seal scroll was only a little bit on the front, but not on the back. These 3 generations are too stupid. He also thought about memorizing the next ninjutsu first, but in the end, he didn't even have the next ninjutsu. Did I get a fake one? Uzumaki Naruto scratched his head frantically. That's not right. When I took the scroll, I took it out from that room. I met the 3rd generation in the corridor at that time. I took it correctly. So, this scroll itself is fake and not even real. Damn it, my uncle's plan to make a fortune is just gone. Hey, let's learn the shadow clone technique first. Uzumaki Naruto wailed in his heart, sighed, sat down and began to learn the first ninjutsu honestly. The most urgent thing is to learn ninjutsu first. With this in mind, Uzumaki Naruto looked at the detailed steps and precautions recorded above. The jutsu of multiple shadow clone jutsu is marked as A level, which means that it is extremely difficult and requires a high degree of chakra control and complex sealing steps. Looking at the introduction of this thing, Naruto had a toothache. Even though my heart is hurting, I have to go all out. Uzumaki Naruto read the instructions on the scroll while silently simulating the complicated seal sequences in his mind. Soon, Uzumaki Naruto tried it. He first tried to perform the seal according to the steps recorded on the scroll. Although his fingers seemed a little clumsy at first, his movements gradually became smoother with each attempt. The sequence and gestures of the seals seemed to naturally form a rhythm in his mind, as if these complex movements were not as difficult as he imagined. Huh. Naruto frowned slightly, feeling a little surprised. Doesn't this feel like it's not that difficult? Subconsciously, Naruto couldn't help but speed up the practice, becoming more proficient with each seal. He could clearly feel that the speed and power of chakra flowing in his body were also increasing, as if this ninjutsu had some kind of natural fit with his chakra. This made Uzumaki Naruto's eyes suddenly widen. Am I a genius? This thought came to Naruto's mind. After continuing to practice a few times, Uzumaki Naruto suddenly found that he could roughly complete the entire seal formation process. Just as Uzumaki Naruto tried to form the seal to the back, the chakra in his body began to surge violently, flowing rapidly in accordance with the order of the seal. He formed a final seal with his hands, and then suddenly released the chakra. Shadow Clone Technique. Uzumaki Naruto shouted loudly. A burst of white smoke instantly exploded around him. After the smoke dissipated, Naruto was surprised to see dozens of clones exactly like him standing in front of him. Each clone is lifelike, even their expressions and movements are exactly the same. Hiss. What the hell? Naruto stared at everything in front of him in disbelief, and was so excited that he couldn't express it in words. Did I really do this? How could I learn an A- level ninjutsu so quickly? He looked around, feeling extremely shocked. It was obviously an extremely difficult ninjutsu. How could he master it so quickly? Ha 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 ha. Unable to suppress the ecstasy in his heart, Uzumaki Naruto couldn't help laughing. Although I still feel a little incredible, I am more proud and excited. I really learned it. Am I really a genius? Naruto couldn't help but start to wonder if he had some hidden talent that had been awakened. Hee, if they knew that I learned it so quickly, they would be surprised. Naruto thought proudly, with a bright smile on his face. Bang bang bang. At this time, the clone turned into white mist and disappeared out of thin air. I seem to understand that when I practice the clone technique, the chakra in my body cannot be controlled at all. If I release it all at once, I cannot make the clone complete. Looking at the shadow clone that disappeared not long after, Naruto Uzumaki pinched his chin and muttered thoughtfully. This A-level ninjutsu suddenly increased the number of clones he could release, and he was currently unable to control these numbers. But each shadow clone is transformed by consuming chakra. When this ninjutsu is activated, the uncontrolled chakra in his body instantly becomes his exact clone, and is distributed evenly. A large amount of chakra is distributed, allowing him to easily create shadow clones and control them simply. A normal ninja would definitely not be able to do this to me. They don't have that much chakra in their bodies. But I'm different. I have the 9 tails sealed in my body, tisk tisk. Does this mean that I can easily learn those advanced ninjutsu in the future? And then conquer the world with one move? Ahahahaha. Thinking of this, Uzumaki Naruto's breathing quickened and he laughed proudly. In addition to being linked to the complexity of the ninjutsu, the level of the ninjutsu is also linked to the amount of chakra. Ordinary ninjas don't have chakra like him. I don't need to practice that low-level ninjutsu in the future. There is also an 8-gate dunjia. Although this thing is incomplete, I can still record it. Then these 2 ninjutsu can be given to the shopkeeper. After all, without Mr. Lin Mo, I won't know the future situation. I have to reciprocate as a courtesy, Muttering, Uzumaki Naruto looked serious. No matter what, I can give these 2 ninjutsu to Lin Mo myself. If you can build a good relationship with Lin Mo, you might be able to get him some good stuff in the future. Thinking of this, Uzumaki Naruto smiled brightly. Let's continue taking a look at this 8-gate dunjia. While muttering, Uzumaki Naruto quickly knelt down and looked. It's indeed incomplete, the back is completely gone. After a while, Uzumaki Naruto's face turned dark. The 3rd Hokage is an old thief. But he can still record simple things. Well, haven't you come yet? After a brief look, Uzumaki Naruto found that Iruka-sensei and Mizuki-sensei were not there yet. I was still thinking of waiting for Mr. Iruka to come over and giving him the sealing value technique directly. Forget it. They were able to come here, probably because of the 3rd generation. Did Iruka-sensei get hurt in front of me? Thinking of the contents of the comics he was reading, Uzumaki Naruto pondered for a moment. Having read the comics several times, he knew the plot very well. Forget it, while they are looking for me, I will secretly use the transformation technique to go back, put the ninjutsu scroll back, and then go back and copy the multiple shadow clone technique. Otherwise, when Mr. Iruka comes over, Mr. Iruka will definitely be injured. I am doing this for Mr. Mizuki's sake. Hey, they didn't expect me to go back. Uzumaki Naruto murmured as he smiled excitedly, looking just like a fox who had successfully stolen a chicken. Without any hesitation, Uzumaki Naruto decisively used the transformation technique and directly transformed into Iruka. Then he ran all the way towards the Hokage building. Sure enough, everyone is looking for me, and many people have gone to set up defenses outside the village. Not even ninjas to guard you. Uzumaki Naruto soon arrived at the Hokage building. Looking at the empty building, he ran decisively along the path he had taken before without any hesitation. He quickly returned to the place where he had obtained the sealed book. After putting the sealed book back, Uzumaki Naruto turned around and closed the door and left. After leaving the Hokage building, he whistled and walked towards his home. Go back and write down the shadow clone technique silently, and find an opportunity to send it to Mr. Linmo tomorrow. And at this moment, Hokage building. In the Hokage's office. Sarutobi Hiruzen looked at the figure of Naruto walking out of the Hokage building displayed on the crystal ball in front of him, and fell into deep thought. A long time passed before Hiruzen Sarutobi moved the crystal ball twitchingly at the corner of his mouth. The picture suddenly changed and a forest appeared. Iruka and Mizuki walked in one after the other. If Naruto Uzumaki were here, he would definitely see that it was the place where he practiced the art of multiple shadow clones before. Strange. Sarutobi Hiruzen took several puffs of cigarette in confusion, with a puzzled look on his face. Why is this boy Naruto back? The show has begun, and the protagonist deviates from his originally set route. Hokage-sama. At this time, an Anbu appeared out of thin air in front of Sarutobi Hiruzen and whispered, Naruto Uzumaki is back, and he also put back the sealed book, do you think? As Anbu ninjas stationed at the Hokage building, they also knew Sarutobi Hiruzen's actions today. So everyone cooperated and left the Hokage building. They have all been arranged on the other side of the forest, driving Mizuki and Iruka into the forest. As a result, the person involved came back. He also returned the stolen seal scroll, which silenced them as well. How to do this? Order people to evacuate. Sarutobi Hiruzen was silent for a long time. He rubbed his eyebrows with a headache and said, the news was released in the middle of the night. The sealed book has been recovered and all hands have been withdrawn. On Mizuki's side, continue to send 2 more people to keep an eye on him and report intelligence at any time every day. We won't leave him alone for the time being. As for Iruka, forget it, I won't notify him for the time being. Yes. Upon hearing Sarutobi Hiruzen's words, the Anbu ninja nodded immediately and stepped away. How so? Watching the Anbu ninja leave, Hiruzen Sarutobi smoked in confusion. It shouldn't be. How could this be? Naruto's behavior seemed wrong, but it also seemed right, and there was a strange feeling that he couldn't put his finger on. What the hell? When Hiruzen Sarutobi was smoking a cigarette in silence. The other side. Ichiraku Ramen Shop. Shoda looked at Linmo who was eating noodles and said with a smile, Linmo, you are temporarily living in Konoha, what are your plans? The last time I communicated with Linmo, I knew Linmo's general situation. He is not from Konoha village, he only comes to Konoha to stay temporarily. In the past few days, he had been eating ramen at his place, treating his ramen restaurant as a dining hall. He also chatted with Linmo and became slightly acquainted with her. So we had a brief chat. I opened a small shop and visited Konoha during normal times. Hearing Shandai's words, Linmo smiled lightly and said, as for the plan, let's open the store temporarily. If he wants to become stronger, he can only do so by selling cans. The current plan is to sell more cans. A shop owner. Hearing Linmo's words, Shoda immediately became interested. What kind of store does it open? If I'm free, I'll go over and support you. This young man actually owns a shop. Being able to come to Konoha village temporarily as an outsider and open a shop means that he is not only rich, but his status is definitely not that of an ordinary person. Linmo didn't look like a businessman, could he be a kid from a rich family? But how can a kid from a rich family open a store? Generally, you need to hire people to open a store. A small can shop. Linmo chuckled. Sell some cans. Selling jars. Hearing Linmo's words, a chorus, who had just finished cleaning up, came over with interest and said, speaking of which, we also need to buy some jars for our ramen shop. Next time we have a chance, we will go to Lin Mo's shop. Purchase. Well, this. Lin Mo looked strange when he heard what Calamus said. The jars he sells have to be smashed open to reveal the contents. That thing can't hold anything. Next to him, Tiantian, who was sitting next to Lin Mo, looked interested and snickered slightly in his heart. I'm afraid Sister Chengpu wouldn't have thought that the price of jars in Lin Mo's jar shop would be 100,000 taels. You will definitely be surprised when you find out. Well, that's settled. And of course smiled and continued. Today's meal of ramen is considered as my treat, and you don't have to pay. Ah. How is this possible? After hearing what Chongpu said, Tiantian quickly said, Sister Chongpu, there's no need to be so polite. No need to refuse. Calamus stretched out his finger and shook it. I am exempting Lin Mo from paying the fee. You are just here every day. If you really want to pay, it's not impossible. Saying that, Calamus smiled brightly at Lin Mo. Deep in his eyes, there was even a hint of shyness. In her opinion, Lin Mo is really good looking. Well, okay. After hearing what Calamus said, Tiantian scratched his head. It turns out that I was just incidentally. When Lin Mo heard what a chorus said and looked at a picture of a chorus that cannot be refused, he immediately nodded and accepted a chorus's kindness. Thank you then. He is not short of the money for a bowl of ramen, and a chorus is not short of the money for this bowl of ramen. So he accepted Calamus's generosity calmly. Seeing Lin Mo accept, Chongpu's smile suddenly brightened, and his eyebrows curved into crescents. At this time, Lin Mo also looked at the Calamus with the help of the light, and sighed in his heart that the Calamus was quite beautiful. This thin figure is very beautiful. Moreover, wearing a chef's uniform makes it even more unique. I'm afraid it would look better if she changed into blue cook clothes. Beside him, Shoda looked at this scene and smiled without saying a word. He didn't care too much about what his daughter Chongpu said. As Chongpu's father, he almost immediately judged that his daughter was attracted by Lin Mo's appearance, so he took the initiative to befriend her. Although he had only met Lin Mo for a few days, he could see that Lin Mo had a very peaceful personality. But he knew so little about Lin Mo that he could just make friends and have a chat. Seeing that Lin Mo was not wearing a ninja forehead protector, he must not be a ninja. After all, for ninjas, ninja forehead protectors are a status symbol, and few people would not wear them. Immediately, Lin Mo briefly chatted with a chorus, said goodbye to his hand, and walked out of the Ichiraku ramen shop with Tenten. Night had already fallen, and the sky was shrouded in deep black. However, a bright moon hung high in the sky, casting a cold silver glow, as if it had covered the quiet street with a veil. The moonlight was like water, gently flowing on the figures of Lin Mo and Tiantian. The breeze blew by, and it seemed that the moonlight could be heard whispering. Lin Mo looked up at the bright moon, squinting his eyes and feeling filled with emotion. This kind of translucent moonlit night was almost an unavailable luxury in his memory of his previous life. I won't send it to you. Withdrawing his gaze from the moon, Lin Mo looked at Tiantian and said with a smile, Are you going back by yourself, or are you going to sit over at my place? I don't have much business there at night, so sitting around might be a bit boring. Is Mr. Lin Mo free? Hearing Lin Mo's words, Tiantian squinted his eyes. Would you like to go for a walk together? Let's digest it after dinner. It's not impossible. Lin Mo nodded after hearing Tiantian's words. He came to Konoha village, but he hadn't taken a good tour of Konoha yet. Good. Seeing that Lin Mo agreed, Tiantian smiled brightly and took the initiative to lead the way for Lin Mo. As the two walked around Konoha, they found that the original tense atmosphere in the village streets had gradually disappeared. There were even fewer ninjas patrolling, which surprised Lin Mo. Have they all gathered over there in the forest? I really didn't expect that two major events would happen one after another today. Tiantian complained speechlessly as he walked. I heard my teacher say that the Book of Sealing is the most precious treasure of a ninja village. Even a Jonin cannot read the Book of Sealing without making contributions. It contains many important things. Ninjutsu is a precious asset of a ninja village. How could this thing be stolen? She thought about this matter all the way but still couldn't understand it. Yeah, it's a pity that many people can't figure it out. Lin Mo nodded. But what if it was intentional? Tiantian was stunned when she heard Lin Mo's words. Intentional. Why? But thinking of what she had experienced before and what Lin Mo said, Tiantian suddenly fell silent. There must be some calculations that she didn't know about. Konoha village is not what she imagined in school. While thinking about this, she continued to walk with Lin Mo. Finally, Tiantian sent Lin Mo all the way to the jar shop, then said goodbye to Lin Mo and turned away. The first thing Lin Mo did when he returned to the store was to make the things that Tiantian's parents had opened before appear in suspension. The first thing to be fused was the chakra of the Chunin level, which could save him the steps of training.